upcoming home game. Grab your friends and head to
Kincade Salciunas is on the air. Broadcasting live on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
You know, anytime you think maybe it might be a calm, relaxing morning to start the day, you then remember that the Phillies are run by Dave Dombrowski. You remember that the Eagles lost in the first round of the playoffs to the San Francisco 49ers. You hold your breath every time Joel Embiid and Paul George step onto the court if they play, which they did not last night, and the Sixers lose. And then you're just hoping that the Flyers can snap the losing skid, which they did against the Golden Knights. Hopefully that can continue. It's been a weird stretch in Philadelphia, and it continues because of the comments made by the president of baseball operations yesterday, John Kincade. No, not you, but Dave Dombrowski. Because he's content, Johnny. He's content with the team, happy with the team that did win 96 games last year, but for the third straight season failed in the postseason. Good morning.
The word content, the minute I heard it, I did not say a word to you.
I know.
And we both listened, and I purposely said, okay, I'm not saying a word to it. I'm not going to say anything to Andrew, so don't talk it out as we're walking out of the building. And then I see you put up a video while I'm at school.
Yep.
And
what did you think of it, John?
And I thought it was really good. Good video. Good. I love the digital content.
Oh yeah, baby.
But
that's half a point.
But to me, and I send along almost concurrently before classes start. I send along stuff for today's show. We both hung on the same word.
Yeah.
The word content, and Dave Dombrowski tells me that he is absolutely out of touch with this fan base.
Yeah, he stands by what his messages were back in October when the Phillies lost to the Dodgers in the first round of the playoffs. The way he spoke about that series, about, hey, we were one throw away.
Oh, we outscored the Dodgers.
We outscored the Dodgers.
Which is the craziest thing, by the way, that I've ever heard a baseball executive say after any series in my life. I've never, and I look, like I've done this job a long, long time. And I saw the Braves win one World Series and go to the playoffs 14 years in a row.
Yep.
Win 14 divisions in a row. And I never heard Bobby Cox or an executive trot out something stupid like that.
Dave Dombrowski back in October.
Oh, we outscored them in the series.
It was a PR hit for the Dodgers. Remember, that was just a really good team. They're the defending World Series champions. It's a really good club. That's where the whole club thing started.
Really good club.
He wasn't even talking about the Phillies club when that drop first started. He was talking about the Dodgers club and giving them all the props in the world. And he was totally okay with them losing to the Los Angeles Dodgers, or content, which is the word that he used yesterday. So
the word content is just, it was an awful choice of words. And the thing is, before those events, you get coached up by the PR team, or maybe at his point in his career, he doesn't.
Yeah, he probably doesn't.
He just says, I got this. Well, Dave, you don't got this.
No.
Not anymore. You've lost your fastball for handling those events. If you used the word content yesterday, that was a major misplay.
Since the trade deadline of 2024, I've been saying to you guys that I believe he's living off of his resume. And, with all due respect,
it's a great resume, and we both acknowledge that.
It's a great resume.
And he's done some really good work here on a lot of things, and we both acknowledge
It's just a shame that the three previous organizations that he worked with, he won a World Series with, right? He wins with the Marlins, he wins with the Tigers, he wins with the Red Sox. and we've not seen that yet. We saw them get to a World Series. They lost to a dynasty. I can still live with that loss. I had somebody on social media yesterday because I talked about the past 3 failures, and he said, no, past 4 failures. They blew that series. I still go, hey, that was a dynasty. I understand there were decisions that did not work. I know that they were up 2-1. I get all that stuff. But, look, that was the Astros.
That was 6 hot weeks of baseball.
Right.
And let's be honest. That was 6 hot weeks of baseball. They backed into the playoffs. They were 4-8 down the stretch. And if Milwaukee didn't go 4-10,
right,
they don't even make the playoffs that year. And this the whole tale of this entire Rob Thompson tenure maybe is completely different.
And that's why we talk about perspective, right? When Andrew DeCecco and Zach Berman talk about the Eagles and put it into perspective, there are other organizations, other teams that would love to win a Super Bowl and then the next year go 11-6, even if it was a disappointing end to the season. There are a lot of teams that would like that. So let's put the Phillies into perspective. If last year was 2022 and the comments that Dave Dombrowski made in October and on January 20th,
we would take them and we would be excited to say, what are you going to do as an encore?
But it happened 4 years ago. 2022 was 4 years ago, 4 seasons ago when they got to that World Series, and they've gone backwards ever since, except for regular season wins, which that is what the biggest problem here is when Dave Dombrowski looks at his club and says, wow, we're good enough to win 96 games. We should be good enough to win some big picture stuff, and yet they've lost in the first round the last 2 years. So let's play some audio from Dombrowski yesterday. It's going to be a big part of our show today, the press conference that was. The only difference for me personally, John, between yesterday and what took place in October is I'm more like sad than angry this time around. You might not be able to tell that by my tone.
Yeah, I'm, and I want you to expound on that a little bit later after we hear something.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the timeliness of losing that series in October and like parading the fact that you won 96 games pissed me off.
Well, I got that. There was anger there.
That pissed me off.
But the sadness today, where does that come from? How did it go from? Because I thought you'd be more mad hearing the word content.
Because I'm going into a season not believing, and that's sad. That's sad. I don't believe in this baseball team to get to a World Series, which again, that's the standard line, bar, expectations, whatever you want to say. I expect them to win around 90 games. I expect to have a fun stretch in the summer where they win 7 of 10, and Johan Duran's coming out of the bullpen.
And you know we're going to see that.
Yeah,
right?
it's going to happen.
You're announcing it.
Because they don't stink. I said this to people on social media yesterday. They don't stink, but that is not what I'm talking about anymore. I'm not talking about whether or not they stink. I'm talking about whether or not they can win a World Series, and I don't see it. And that makes me sad because I feel this way in January.
I think that's fair as far as I fully expect we're going to have a fun summer watching a baseball team. But again, I question you on this. I think you have a bit of a delusional stance.
Thank you.
No, I mean I'm not trying to be dismissive. What I'm saying to you is the Phillies standard is not World Series. The Eagles standard is Super Bowl. The Phillies make a World Series every generation.
Yeah, but I'm talking about our fan base.
No, I get you. I get it. But the Phillies have not set a standard like that of expectation. The Eagles have.
Sure.
And what Eagles leadership does is the Eagles leadership says, we're going to do everything we can to say we're not happy with regular season wins. We're pissed off that we went out in the first round.
Howie was angry. What? It was 3 days later was the press conference?
If you play Dave Dombrowski press conference, and I'm going to do this for my kids and talk in my one class.
Damn right.
I'm going to transpose Howie Roseman end of season press conference with Dave Dombrowski end of season press conference and let them hear the two men speak. And one guy, I would say to them, which guy has 2 rings here? Which guy has been to 2 championship games in the last 3 years?
Here.
Which guy has been? Because it seems as if it's reversed. Howie Roseman seems like the guy who's starving outside the buffet, and Dave Dombrowski seems like the fat guy who's had enough to eat. And that is what bothers me. That pisses me off more. So you're more sad. It makes me more mad. It makes me more angry when I heard
my
yesterday.
Emotions will go in and out today. Don't you worry. All right, let's hear some of the Pobo, Dave Dombrowski. I want to play this clip first because it's become like a running bit not just here on the Fanatic, but also on social media.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's waiting for him to say these words in one way or another. Here is Dave Dombrowski talking about the state of the Phillies.
We did rebound in the sense that we signed JT right away, which I'm very fortunate that we're very fortunate he didn't sign somewhere else. And I think overall in the wintertime, I like our club. We have a good club. You know, I've just said it's a situation. People forget we re-signed Schwartz.
No, we don't.
Really?
If we hadn't re-signed him, I don't know how I would be feeling about the wintertime. As you could see, there was a lot of competition for him. I look at our club with signing JT, which was also a priority for us. And if we didn't sign JT, and no offense to the catchers that we have with Marchand and Stubbs, we would have been in a position we would have tried to add somebody somehow, some way, because I don't think we'd have felt comfortable going through a year without having somebody else back there. So bringing JT back was huge for us.
He cannot help himself, but he degrades his own players.
I know.
And his own roster more than any executive I've ever heard.
Look, I don't disagree with him.
No, I don't disagree with him either, but I've never heard it where
With all due
guy in
respect to Rafael Marchand and Garrett Stubbs, we would have sucked without JT.
we don't trust either one of those bozos.
It's unbelievable. Nick Castellanos, you suck. Get out of here.
He honestly is. He's your grandpa down in the Villages. He doesn't care what he says anymore.
Yeah, no bleeps given.
He doesn't care what he says
Just
anymore,
living
and he
his
just says
life.
it. Because you know what? And I can tell by the construction of this roster, he doesn't care anymore. Because he knows in a couple years, he's going to be down there in Franklin, Tennessee, in tax-free Tennessee,
With the expansion
and enjoying
club, with another club.
or doing his thing, and you're going to be saddled with all these long-term old contracts, and the Phillies are going to be in a desperate rebuild.
So you heard him there. I like our club, really like our club, were the words that Dave Dombrowski used. And it's funny, he talked about JT. You know, first off, all right, hold on, before we even get there. People forget we signed Kyle Schwarber.
No.
Bro, what the hell are you talking about,
Who
man?
forgot?
Like, I get offended sometimes by the way people speak that run baseball, or that run teams, right, that run clubs. Don't offend me. He offended me in October with a lot of the things that he said about how we were one this away, one that away. Hey, he offended me in June about Max Kepler.
Oh, my gosh.
And the reason why they couldn't call up Justin Crawford was because Max Kepler had been swinging a good bat, and he wasn't.
He's been swinging a good bat.
Like, he wasn't. He ended up actually having a good August, but you'll wonder why, because he got pinched for PED use. So, like, when you're offensive to me, I don't like you. And when you're saying stuff like, people forget that we re-signed Kyle Schwarber.
No.
Nobody forgot that. Nobody was listening to that press conference and went, oh, yeah, they did sign Kyle Schwarber.
By the way, bravo that you re-signed Kyle Schwarber.
That did not cross anybody's mind yesterday. Nobody forgot it.
You beat out the Reds and the Pirates.
Yeah, by the way, and the Reds.
For Kyle Schwarber.
Reds haven't spent money on anybody this offseason.
Yeah, and the Orioles. You went up against the Titans.
Yeah, and if you didn't get Schwarber from the Orioles, you're getting Pete Alonso, right?
By the way, one of my students yesterday, Connor, said to me on the way into class, he goes, "Did you hear that Dombrowski press conference?" He goes, "I hope Connor listened to it."
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, big listener to the show. And he goes, yeah. And he goes, Connor always tells you, and I usually agree with Connor, you put a lot into press conferences and what people say. He said, if he says it to you tomorrow, he's wrong. So I'm interested to hear Connor's takes today.
All right.
He goes, because he usually agrees with you. He thinks that sometimes that I put too much into what the coach says in a press conference or otherwise. He goes, but if he does it to you today, he's wrong. Okay. Because that was another epically bad press conference.
Well, he continued.
But you have a big fan, and one of my students loves Connor.
We'll get Connor's thoughts. Curious. He continued. So you heard him say people forget that we re-signed Kyle Schwarber. Nobody forgot that. And then he said, well, we rebounded by getting JT Realmuto. Now, this makes me laugh. Right, because he talks about the state of his club and how happy he is with his club and how they wanted JT Realmuto from the very beginning. And yet you didn't, because once you found out that Bo Bichette was a possibility, you quickly, and he told everybody in the press conference yesterday that he called JT Realmuto's camp and was like, hey, with all due respect, we'd love to have you, but we have to pivot to this direction. Bo Bichette is available. Here's Dave Dombrowski on what took place last Friday when they did not land Bichette.
I can't say that we ever thought it was done because there's a difference between, we thought we were very close to having a deal done. We thought it was going to happen, but it wasn't done. And so there's a difference between the two. As I've explained to some other people, that it's a situation where in baseball, and agents run things differently between themselves. They do things in different ways. Until you sign a memo of understanding, you don't have a deal done. And we did not sign one of those. And it wasn't that we weren't moving towards that direction. It isn't, didn't think that we were going to get there based upon our conversations, but we did not get to that point. So I can't say that I ever thought we had it. I did think we were going to get a deal done.
All right, so he's talking out of both sides of his mouth. I can't say that we were, but I did believe that we were. That makes me laugh.
That really I didn't know what he meant.
And so, well, it's exactly what he means.
Did he have a deal or did he not have a deal?
He went to bed Thursday night, according to every report.
He thought he had a deal.
He thought he had a deal. Thursday night, he goes to bed. He tucks himself in. He drinks his nice warm glass of milk on the nightstand and says, "Good night, honey," and then goes to sleep and then wakes up and then he's ready to go to work. Maybe he went in late that day. Maybe he thought, we got this. And then he finds out that the New York Mets were signing Bo Bichette.
They did an end around. The Phillies had an end around did on them while they weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
That's now look, maybe there was no way they could have changed events. But
oh no, there were ways. We'll get to that.
There were, but
they could have structured the contract the way that the Bichette camp wanted.
They weren't willing to do it.
They didn't do that. So you hear him say, "We thought we were going to get him." I can't tell you that we were, but I thought that we were.
Correct.
And then at the end of the press conference, somebody asks him the question. This is where the wording, you might say that we're overreacting to it. That's your prerogative. Dave Dombrowski was asked if there was going to be any other moves made, and this was his response.
Well, I really can't speak to that by the baseball rules. But because they're free agents. But I just say I think we're content where we are at this point.
We're content with where we are at this point. Earlier in the press conference, he talked about adding depth, right? Like that's something that they were still looking to do. It's not like the Phillies are done, but it's more so depth pieces. Depth to where? Because where is the strong suit of this baseball team? The outfield? Because I still question that.
Depth?
So content.
I hate that. I hate that word.
Our question for you at 610-632-0975, and then you and I will react to the word content, and I'll tell the people about the video I posted yesterday. This seems to be it. You just heard Dombrowski say it, right?
Oh, it does.
I can't speak on free agents, but we're content with where we are at. If he's saying that they're content, it makes me feel like they're done. They might add a fourth outfielder or something. They might add somebody that made it through free agency longer.
I think a back-end starter seems to be a fifth starter seems to be something that we're hearing about.
Fifth starter. Look, the Bader thing is still a possibility.
I don't believe it.
But Bader is not going to move the needle for me. It's going to be able to say, wow, they have an everyday center fielder, because I don't know if they have that right now, other than just letting Justin Crawford grow in Major League Baseball. So him saying, I can't speak much on it, but we are content with where we are at. That means to me that they're pretty much done. And if this is the roster going into the 2026 season, and don't give me, well, they got the trade deadline, because the trade deadline has been not a disaster, because Duran was a great move, but other than Duran, have we felt great about
Bader was a great move.
Bader was a great move.
Okay.
I think Bader was a great move. I'm going to put that as a great move.
I think he lucked out too.
Well, wait a minute. You can't do that. You can't do that.
He all of a sudden had a career.
You can't do
whatever.
That.
Okay, fine.
You can't. A guy makes a move. You got. Now look, I'm very critical of it.
Tip my cap to him.
Got to give it.
For the most part, the trade deadlines have not been great for Dave Dombrowski. They have not been, and so I can't. And I've been doing this the last couple of years. Sit here going into the season and say, well, let's see what they do July 31st. I can't do that anymore. I just can't. I got to watch this baseball team the way that it is built, and he be content with it. So are you happy with this Phillies roster? 610-632-0975. Now, the word content, John. So I posted a video on my social channels yesterday, Salciunas 975, Twitter, Instagram. Appreciate the follow. I tried taking it out of sports for a moment. If your spouse...
Nice clean kitchen, by the way.
Thank you. I try to make it look nice. If your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever, comes up to you and says, are you happy with our relationship?
Uh-huh.
And your response is, I'm content. you would be sleeping on the couch that night. Or vice versa, if you asked your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, are you happy with our relationship? And they said, I'm content. You will feel pain in your heart, especially if you really love the person and you're hearing that they're content. I'm sorry. I will read too much into a word. Because here's the deal. In October, he was totally fine with the result.
No. I think that's unfair. I think he portrayed to us. Do you think behind closed doors he was totally okay with it?
No shot.
I don't. I think he tried to bluff his way through a press conference and he sounded stupid.
I agree with that 100%.
I think he sounded it sounded dumb.
It was really dumb.
It sounded really, really dumb. And to me, that is but overall, I just say like I look at it and go, he sounded really dumb. He came off dumb yesterday.
Yeah.
But I don't believe at the end of the year he was happy with the result. I think he was trying to...
I'll say this. He did not feel anywhere near the pain that we felt.
I think he may have behind the scenes, but he was not going to let us see it. And more importantly, he was not going to take the L. He was not going to take the public L. He was not going to have egg on his face. He was not going to allow it to be like, hey, I'm, look at me. I've made mistakes here. There were problems with it. He was not going to take the public L. And that's where I look at Howie Roseman and how many public L's he's willing to take and take responsibility for, and how this man just won't.
Yeah.
Just won't do it. So I get you. I mean, I get what you're saying.
I
get what you're saying, but
sad
but I don't believe, and I think you know it. You know that Dave Dombrowski felt pain after that loss.
Sure, I don't think he feels it the same way we do.
I think I can't agree with you on that.
All right.
I can't agree with you on that one.
If this is the roster, which it seems to be, are you happy with the Phillies roster? By the way, if you're still dreaming of Luis Robert Jr.,
oh, Connie upset?
that dream's dead.
Yeah, very. I'm losing
He was
it.
traded to the New York Mets last night.
Woo! I'm so glad the Mets got him. Unbelievable.
Coming up next, for anyone that says that the Stars just need to step up, maybe you're not wrong. Maybe Harper, Turner, and Schwarber just need to step up come playoff time. Well, Dave Dombrowski was asked about his October comments on Bryce Harper yesterday. What did he say? Or didn't say? Hear that next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies like their club. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Uber Eats. Philly, you hungry? Good thing Uber Eats has a great deal waiting for you at La Conchita Food Truck from now until June 30th. Get a buy one, get one deal on select items on the app. Order now only on Uber Eats. Terms apply. See app for details. Just a few days after the Phillies re-signed JT Realmuto, he and Dave Dombrowski met with the media yesterday. The more pressing questions were, of course, posed to Dombrowski, who was asked multiple times how he feels about the status of the team with spring training right around the corner.
I think overall in the wintertime, I like our club. We have a good club. You know, I've just said it's a situation. People forget we re-signed Schwartz. If we hadn't re-signed him, I don't know how I would be feeling about the wintertime.
We'll see if they can prove that they have a good club on the field this year. Pitchers and catchers report to Clearwater exactly 3 weeks from today. The Sixers fell to the Suns 116-110 last night. No Joel Embiid, no Paul George on the back end of a back-to-back. Devin Booker led all scorers with 27. Sixers are off this evening. The Flyers are in Utah taking on the Mammoth tonight at 9 p.m. You can hear that game live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. In football, Mike McDaniel is expected to become the new OC of the Los Angeles Chargers. Eagles are still trying to figure out their replacement for Kevin Patullo as the market thins out a bit. We'll talk to Adam Schefter about that coming up at 8:05. This update's also brought to you by IHOP. IHOP's value menu is here. Enjoy breakfast favorites like pancakes, eggs and bacon, French toast with sausage, or a cheesy omelet with pancakes, all for just $6. Go to your happy plates with a $6 IHOP value menu. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic.
This hour of Kincade Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
All right, this might be unfair, but did Mike McDaniel choose the Chargers because of the weather? Because I honestly think it.
He did not.
It's Kincade and Salciunas here on
It is funny,
97.5 The Fanatic.
He wants to wear his male capris.
So Mike McDaniel, in case you did not hear, was is expected to be hired by the Chargers as the team's offensive coordinator. So he will work with Justin Herbert and try to get him to actually perform in the playoffs. Mike McDaniel was a guy on a lot of people's lists for the OC. I was intrigued, but I don't think I could have dealt with him. I really don't.
Why?
The weirdness of him.
Yes, you could have. You would absolutely have had a field day.
The content would have been tremendous. But
you would have enjoyed it.
He would have drove me nuts. Between the way Nick drives me crazy, it's a totally different level. It's very Gabe Kapler-esque, and I already dealt with that.
Yeah, but if he wins, if he comes here and the offense looks great.
Yeah, and if he doesn't win and he's just weird and they lose.
Yeah, Kevin Petullo was the most normal guy on the planet. Were we happy with him?
He was milk. He was 2% milk, Kevin Petullo.
That is one of the best things I read yesterday is that at Smoky Hill High School, Mike McDaniel was the smokiest.
Is that right?
He went to Smoky Hill High School, was his high school. And it said at Smoky Hill High School, Mike McDaniel, and they did a feature on him back when he was when he became the Dolphins coach. And some of his high school classmates said that Mike McDaniel was the smokiest.
He's a Colorado guy.
He's from Aurora, Colorado.
He's a deep thinker.
He's a pothead.
Yeah.
But it's what he enjoys.
Sometimes it seems like he is on Sundays, too, and that's why they didn't win in Miami.
It's like, hey, dude.
So Mike McDaniel, now the offensive coordinator with the Dolphins, which means the OC search continues for the Eagles. Brian Dable was interviewed yesterday. So we'll keep you updated. Listen all day on the Fanatic because the news could drop at some point. This show could drop Middays with Marks, could drop during Unfiltered. We will talk about the offensive coordinator position as we continue, but we start with the Dave Dombrowski comments from yesterday, his press conference that left me sad because I have little faith, again, going into another season where I look at this baseball team and I go, where is it that I should sit here and feel very comfortable? Bullpen, I feel very comfortable. Starting pitching, shaky ground. And I understand that there are people that still believe in Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber to do what he did last year and Trey Turner to be a batting title.
Where
right?
do they think the best is yet to come?
That's the thing, the age.
Really?
I had a guy the other day who, he gets upset anytime I'm negative, and I'm sorry that I can't always be positive about our sports teams. And he was, talking about my youth. Right. Oh, you don't understand. I was a Phillies fan back in the 70s.
Stop it.
And Range Rat Rick, he says, look, in the 70s, the Phillies couldn't get over the hump, and then they won in 1980. I always like to point out that the team in 1980, Mike Schmidt was 30. He was in the prime of his Hall of Fame career.
The Phillies had a core of really, really good guys that were coming up together.
Yes.
Where they had a bunch of players that came up together and were playing together. The Phillies of the late 70s going into 80, when they had the one blip year in 79 when they fired Danny Ozark, was nothing like this team.
No.
It doesn't resemble this team at all.
The average age is
My
different.
gosh.
And you have to take that into account. I understand that sports science is different these days. And
Boa
guys
and Schmidt and Dave Cash and Boone and Maddox and everything. Please stop.
Yeah, this Phillies team,
Stop.
their best players are 33, 34, and they re-signed a catcher who's 35 years old to a 3-year deal.
There's no resemblance. There is no resemblance to this in the Phillies of the late 70s.
And I'm the young
trying to
whippersnapper
get
that's
over the
not
hump.
supposed to know anything.
No,
and
that's
yet-
somebody who is too old to remember what they actually watched. Because I watched that as a grade school kid, and that's ridiculous to compare the two.
Nick Boyle, great fireman in the Manayunk-Roxborough,
What's up,
Wissahickon
Nick?
area. Calling Dave Dombrowski Band-Aid Dave. I actually kind of like that. Band-Aid Dave has failed this offseason yet again, running it back again and again. Slap a Band-Aid over stuff. I'm so tired of Band-Aid Dave. That's what Adolis Garcia is. It's a Band-Aid over what? The Kepler thing not working and Nick Castellanos.
Oh, no. He's honestly, I mean, he's got $10 million. The thing is, though, he spends $10 million on Band-Aids.
Yeah.
So he gets to get these $10 million Band-Aids.
By the way, I'm pro Band-Aid brand, so I would spend more money for the
I am
actual
stuck
Band-Aid.
on Band-Aids, and Band-Aids stuck on me.
We will get to the text and calls, I promise, because I know there's a lot of people that want to talk about what Dombrowski had to say, and there's a lot of people that are upset that we're so upset. I mean, I continue to get it on social media yesterday, and that's fine. If you believe in this baseball team, Tell us why. Are you happy with this roster is our question for you today, because Dave Dombrowski at the end of the press conference yesterday was asked if there are any other moves to come. He said, I can't really speak on it, but I can tell you we're content with the roster right now. 610-632-0975. Now, there are a lot of people, in fairness, that said to me yesterday on social media, hey, look, you just need to see Harper and Schwarber and Turner come through in the playoffs.
Really?
Well, look, they're not wrong. If those three guys come through in the playoffs, then maybe it's a different story. But the story is they have not.
Why would anybody be counting on that? Like, how are you counting on that happening?
Just got to get hot at the right time.
And by the way, how about them playing fundamentally sound? Are you going to count on this team all of a sudden playing fundamentally smart baseball at a critical time?
No.
Are you going to tell me that?
Especially when it's, the same roster again. Here was Dave Dombrowski. First, we're going to go back to October because he was asked about Bryce Harper yesterday. If you remember, he made some interesting comments about Harper back in October. If you don't remember what he said, take a listen to Dave Dombrowski back in October of 2025.
I mean, in Bryce's case, of course, he's still a quality player. He's still a all-star caliber player. He didn't have an elite season like he has had in the past. And I guess we only find out if he becomes the elite or he continues to be good.
So that was him in October.
No, I don't. That is funny. That's a shortened part of the
right. He did
thing.
the Freddie Freeman thing.
Then he said. Then he went on to compare him to Freddie Freeman. And honestly, it's Freddie Freeman who should be offended in that comparison, not Bryce Harper.
Because Freddie Freeman's still playing at a very high level and in the playoffs.
And Freddie Freeman is maybe one of the most clutch players in Major League Baseball over the past playoff years.
Didn't he win World Series MVP in 24?
Yeah, and he just continued to hit. I think he had home runs in every game of the World Series or something. Yeah. I mean, Freddie Freeman should be compared to Freddie Freeman. If Bryce Harper takes any offense at that, then it's Bryce Harper that's being foolish.
He did take offense to it, clearly. At one point, not long after that, was upset with everything that he's brought to the city, kind of like what Joel Embiid said a couple of years ago. And he did not feel, I guess, like the same love back. And then he wore the not elite shirt when he was taking BP during this offseason. So Dave Dombrowski had to be asked about it. Hey, have you talked to Bryce? And he was very honest about his opinions of Bryce Harper back in October. This is what he had to say about Bryce Harper yesterday.
I did talk to Bryce. I've talked about this a while ago. So I'm not going to go into that again in further detail. But I have spoken to Bryce, had a great conversation with him. That goes back a while ago. That goes back into November, so a couple months ago. And I do think he will have the ability to be one of the faces of our franchise and look forward to having a tremendous year for us.
A lot different answer.
He better be one of the faces of the franchise.
For God's sakes. Or you're done.
Exactly. If he comes in any less than what he gave you last year, you might not make the playoffs. You might not be a playoff team.
Could be.
Because what do you expect? Do you think JT Realmuto is an ascending player? Because he isn't. No. And he hasn't been.
But he will be here for 3 more years.
That's great. And at a high dollar amount, too.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right, let's get some reaction.
Top dollar.
I know there's been plenty to talk about. Let's go to Kay in Southwest Philly. What's up, Kay?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Great
What's
show.
up, Kay?
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thanks.
You know what? It really, this guy is blowing so much smoke. You're content with your team, but you were looking for a new third baseman because, we've had trouble with routine ground balls to the left side of our infield all season. So to feel content with that is, that's a little strange. Bringing JT back for a year, okay, I see that, but like you guys said, he just murdered Marshawn, who I think is a great young player and shows a lot of promise. I've seen Marshawn win a couple games last season single-handedly.
Yeah, I don't value Marshawn the way you do. I actually don't disagree with what Dombrowski said. It's just the way he
just don't say it.
The way he just throws it out there.
I wouldn't want to depend on Marshawn. No, I'm not saying that, but I do think that he's showing a lot of promise. But our infield struggles. And we'll see what the outfield does, and I'm very confident, or I'll say optimistic, that Crawford will develop. I do want to see what he's got out there, but when you look at the Dodgers, how can you feel content with this team? When you look at the Dodgers, and if they got an all-star team, if we can't keep mid-level players like Bader on our roster, and acquire guys, how are you content when you're out there looking
Because
and you're not.
go back to what he said in October. We were one throw away. We were
wait,
one
though.
miss away.
But but wait a minute though, guys. They were. If Trey Turner makes a routine throw to the plate, executes a basic play, they were up 4-0 on the Dodgers in Game 1. They win that game. If they don't do the stupid base running in Game 2, and for some reason, Nick Castellanos on second base, you think, oh, this is a great play. Now we're going to, with our worst base runner on second base, we're going to do stupid stuff on the base paths. Then you could have won. You could have at least split there. Then you're coming home for a Game 5. And I guess I'm delusional. I think they absolutely would have been no less than a coin flip to win a Game 5 at home in Philadelphia.
But the thing is, all those guys are coming back minus Nick Castellanos or Matt Strahm, who gave up the home run.
It. But the thing is, every game you lost in that series, I will make the argument to you that the Phillies were the better team in the loss. The Phillies played better in the game they lost, but they literally shoot themselves in the foot because they are such a bad fundamental team that, and look, I can't count on Trey Turner. You can tell me.
And he's still here. And
I
I guess I go back to the way I felt. When I saw Strahm come into the game, Connor, you were there. I was like, this isn't going to go well.
The minute I hear people tell me about Trey Turner going, well, Trey Turner's like a batting total guy. There's never been a batting total guy who's been less thought of in Major League Baseball than Trey Turner.
MBD on our YouTube chat, they've now announced twice that Cassie is gone. He's still here. Why? Because nobody's trading for him, so every team is just waiting for them to outright release him.
He runs his team,
and then he gets picked up.
He runs his team on Facebook Marketplace, just like your grandma and pop-up.
All right,
that's what they do.
Coming up next, we'll check our text messages. Are you content with the roster the way Dave Dombrowski is content with the roster? 610-632-0975. Also, it's okay to understand a plan and still hate it at the same time. And no, this isn't about the Phillies. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
When you've been in business for almost 4 decades, that means you're doing something right. And Dan White and Associates have done just that, specializing in retirement and financial planning. So they're dealing with some dicey material because every single client that they deal with, well, they need their needs addressed individually. And that's something that they do great at Dan White and Associates. They help you create income in retirement that's going to let you support the lifestyle that you want to live. And they also can help you bring some certainty to your financial future. Because finances in retirement, let's just say it can be a really overwhelming topic. Well, the experts at Dan White and Associates will help you make sense of your unique situation. Are you in your 30s and 40s and you're looking to buy that next house, or you're wondering how you're going to send the kids to college? They can help you with that. Are you more into my age group and you're wondering, hey, is there going to be a lot of golf and travel in my future? Well, they'll help you with that too. They offer you a complimentary no-risk consultation. They host educational seminars where you can go to a nice dinner, hear a little talk, and find out more about what they do. They have offices in Glen Mills, PA, Middletown, and Lewis, Delaware. Check out danwhiteandassociates.com on the web and let them have that first conversation with you so you can understand more about your financial future.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
It is 6:47 here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic, talking about the press conference that happened yesterday with Dave Dombrowski. He is content with the roster. Are you? 610-632-0975. Say what you want about like the Mets. I understand LOL Mets, they're probably going to collapse. Right? I get it. We have the same talking points every single year. Bill Brown just checked in on social media. The Braves and Mets got better. The Phils lost a number 2 starter. We needed an all-time season from Schwarber last year just to win the division. Can't expect that to be duplicated. I don't think you needed the Schwarber season to
You don't think so?
win the division.
Yes, you did.
I mean, the Mets started collapsing and the Braves were horrible.
Look at the offensive numbers of the
No,
Phillies last year.
I get it. I pointed it out too. That's why I thought he should have won NL MVP because he actually carried his team, whereas Ohtani didn't.
Look
Ohtani
at
was a
Harper's
part
numbers.
of that team.
You don't make the playoffs with Harper's numbers last year.
Yeah, you're probably right.
If you don't have Schwarber literally carrying this team on his back last summer, this team barely makes the playoffs.
You're probably right.
In the division.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so the Mets and Braves did get better. You cannot tell me that the Phillies got better. You can tell me that the Phillies got better in an area.
I don't know that the Mets got better. I mean,
I don't think the Mets got better.
No, but they lost Edwin Diaz, who's the heart of that bullpen. Pete Alonso, say what you want about Francisco Lindor or
Sure,
Juan
I got it.
Soto.
Yeah,
Pete
okay.
Alonso's the heart of that team.
Pete Alonso, and the minute you lose Diaz and Pete Alonso, they did not get better.
Yeah,
but
they
you know
moved
what?
Nimmo,
But here's the thing: they lost a player and acquired a player to try to.
Yeah, but
fix
they're not better. They're not a better team today. Their roster, overlay their roster. Their roster is not better than it was walked off the field last year.
And I still worry about the Braves just because they'll be. You think
I'd worry about the Braves.
They'll be healthier. This
Yeah,
year.
but I don't. Again, I'm not sure the Braves are better as far as winning the division or anything. I mean, I got to see what their pitching looks like. I love the Phillies. I love the Phillies bullpen.
No, I do too.
I hate the Phillies outfield with the passion of 1,000 suns. It's an embarrassing outfield.
By the way, Phillies are the favorite to win the division, not by much. I saw it the other day.
Can I guess?
Go ahead.
Well, okay, so it's odds. You're talking about like gambling odds?
Yes, I'm on the old FanDuel Sportsbook app here.
Phillies plus 180?
Plus 160, but you do have the odds correct for another team.
Okay, so that must be, if the Phillies are plus 160, then the Braves are plus 180.
That is correct. And then the Mets.
Mets are plus 230?
The Mets are plus 200.
Oh, wow. It's closer than I thought.
According to Vegas.
That's closer than I thought, the Mets.
It's the closest between Team 1 and Team 2 in any division, and it is by far the tightest 3-team race in a division in terms of odds.
Now, if I remember correctly, the Braves were favored to win the division last year going into the season.
Yeah, before all the injuries.
Everybody got hurt.
You lose 3 starters, that's going to happen.
That's
if the Phillies lose 3 starters, they're not winning anything either.
I'm just saying, Vegas isn't planning for the Braves to lose that many players, and the Phillies are now favored. So,
all right, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody's healthy, the Phillies absolutely should be considered at least no worse than a coin flip to win this division.
Absolutely,
no worse than that.
But again,
and I would consider them the slight favorite.
But again, it's not just the division anymore.
I'm worried about the Wheeler Suarez thing's the biggest thing to me.
Yeah, we don't know who Wheeler's going to be.
And you have no idea if Wheeler's coming back as anything close to Zach Wheeler. And by the way, when he's coming back, and Ranger Suarez, Andrew Painter for Ranger Suarez is not an even trade. We have no idea who Andrew Painter is.
Just wait for the ramp-up talk for Zach Wheeler.
And how many? And here's what I'm waiting for you. Here's the scary talk. The first time I hear, how many innings are they going to let Andrew Painter pitch this year?
Yeah, there'll probably be a clock.
If they put a clock on his innings, then you're screwed even more. Because then you're not getting Ranger Suarez. You're not getting that. You're not even getting close to what you can count on as the clutch player and everything. And is he going to be available in October, or are those innings going to be eaten up earlier?
He threw 118 innings last year.
So what are the Phillies
26 appearances?
Are you waiting? Do you think we're going to hear, well, the Phillies are going to put an innings limit on Andrew Painter this year?
I think,
we probably will.
I don't think it'll be announced. I think it's going to be
one of those
like
quiet
a
ones?
Matt Gelb will write something in May. Like, Andrew Painter's already at whatever innings, and it's, by the way.
The Phillies would like to keep him at 140 this year or something?
I'm sure we'll get something like that. What do we got on the text line before I tell you about the plan that you understand, but you don't have to love it?
Joe from media leads us off and says, I believe the bottom line isn't that Dave Dombrowski doesn't care. It's that he's just not hungry. It does seem strange because at moments he seems to have his finger on the pulse of the city, but then he'll go and have a buffoon press conference, and you wonder why he's just not out on the front porch somewhere in a rocking chair. The totality of his resume does outshine any other executive for any other sports franchise we've had, but the sad part is most of that was built elsewhere.
It's just a shame that the last two press conferences have left me feeling zero happiness, excitement. Like, he's not really selling this baseball team for me.
You realize you and Bill Colarulo are like, you are singing from the same hymnal. I get, because Tuesdays and Thursdays now I get a big dose of Unfiltered, the
Driving
back end of
from class,
Outfielder, back from school. And Bill was feeling the same way yesterday, and Silvana was really giving him crap about it.
Well, I'm just glad that Bill's finally on the right side of history.
No, but I like Silvana was really giving him crap about it, and I'm going, and I'm listening, and you talk along in your car to it, and I'm going, Sil, Bill's just telling how he feels.
Yeah, I want to know what she likes about this.
And
team.
I think Sil's saying, like, come on, you got to get excited because the baseball season's coming.
Nobody has to tell me to do anything.
And I think it's the idea is that it's okay, Sil, to just be like, you've been kicked in the beanbag so often that you just don't want to sign up for it. We're going to watch. We're going to be there. Going to be cheering.
And celebrate the win. And I won't overreact to losses in May and June. But, like, I will, in the back of my mind, go, well, what are they going to do in the playoffs? That's where they're at this point. Now, the Sixers lost yesterday to the Suns, 116-110. You understand why Paul George and Joel Embiid didn't play yesterday. Doesn't mean you have to like it.
You understand it?
Well, yeah. It's going to be the plan all season long, where they do the no back-to-backs, and they're not going to overplay these guys. And they look good this year when everybody plays, or they look better when everybody plays. Doesn't mean I have to love it. Like, they could have won that game yesterday if they had their group. And it's a shame because they need to start winning games. Like, we're getting closer to the trade deadline. All of a sudden, we're almost at the midway point of the season.
They're past the midway point.
Yeah, they're past it. They played that. That was their 42nd game. You're right. They've passed the midway point of the season. They got to start piling up wins. I don't want them playing in the play-in. And so I understand why. I wasn't shocked when it came out that they weren't playing yesterday. It was the second game of back-to-back. It's just a bummer that it's like, all right, go get them, young kids. Let's see if you can get a win. Then they lose in a game that they should have won yesterday.
The NBA's disrespect for its fan base, for its regular season, for its everything is this load management crap is terrible.
Yeah, this isn't just a Sixers thing. It's the whole league.
The NBA is a disgrace to its fan base, to its ticket-buying public. Because nothing has happened to athletes today that did not happen to athletes for 60, 70 years that played NBA basketball. It's a joke that they cannot play an 82-game schedule.
By the way, in a much less physical era.
Much less physical NBA. It's a joke.
Coming up next, we'll continue to react to Dave Dombrowski. We'll check you the text line. How content are you with the roster? Because he is. You know, they could have signed Bo Bichette, and they tried to, so are they really that content if they didn't land him? They could have landed him if they redid the structure of the contract. Hear Dombrowski speak on that next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Dombrowski feeling great. I'm Connor Thomas, and just a few days after the Phillies re-signed JT Realmuto, he and Dave Dombrowski met with the media yesterday, and obviously the more pressing questions were posed to the president of baseball operations. Dombrowski was asked multiple times how he feels about the status of the team with spring training right around the corner.
I feel great about our club going to spring training. I think we have a very good chance. We won 96 games last year. We've got a different outfield than Garcia that we think can come back and have a big year for us. We made some changes in the bullpen.
Now, it doesn't seem like the fan base is feeling the same way about the Phillies, who have had multiple disappointing playoff exits 3 years in a row. So we'll see what they can prove on the field this year. Pitchers and catchers report to Clearwater exactly 3 weeks from today. Baseball season right around the corner. The Sixers fell to the Phoenix Suns 116-110 last night. No Joel Embiid or Paul George on the back end of a back-to-back. Devin Booker led all scorers with 27. The Sixers are off tonight. Flyers are out in Utah taking on the Mammoth. A late puck drop for this one, 9 p.m. You can still hear that game live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. There's no Flyers game too late for us. In football, Mike McDaniel is expected to become the new OC of the Chargers. The Eagles are still trying to figure out their replacement for Kevin Patullo as the market continues to thin out. We'll talk to Adam Schefter about that coming up at 8:05. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Salciunas coming your way now.
It is 7 a.m. here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic, on what has been a totally normal morning for me.
What do you mean? Other than that iOS update?
So I did the Apple update.
It's a nice update, by the way. I like it.
By the way, I don't understand these phones. You know me. I'm 30 going on 60.
Yes,
right?
Pop.
I did the yes to do the update like 3 days ago. And for whatever reason, it didn't happen until last night.
Because you didn't have your phone plugged in.
No, it was plugged in. I swear. I plug it in every night. All right?
Well, it only updates if it's plugged in, so I don't know.
I swear I plug it in every night. And last night, it updated. And for whatever reason, my alarm didn't go off. I don't know why. I've done the update before, and my alarm has still gone off.
Okay.
My alarm did not go off. My alarm typically goes off at 4 o'clock in the morning. I sometimes snooze one time. Normally, I don't. Normally, I'm a pop right out of bed guy. And then at 4:59 this morning, when I usually pull in here at 5, I got the shake from my wife. What are you still doing here? And here we are.
You hate it when your wife says that to you in bed.
Yeah, well, because
Connie, you never want to hear that.
Because the Amazon man was right around the corner. All right, so yesterday, Dave Dombrowski spoke to the media. We've been reacting to it a lot. Let's get a couple text messages because I'm curious. There are people that I know are in favor of what Dave Dombrowski said. They are happy with the roster. They are content. They do believe that if this guy just has a big season and this guy just has a big season. I had a guy tweeting at me the other day, Marsh and Stott. Like, look at what
Marsh and Stott.
And I go, well, I don't see it that way. But to his point, Marsh went since May, had one of the better averages for outfielders.
We've seen that before.
And then come playoff time, they don't want to play him against lefties. And if it wasn't for the injury to Harrison Bader, he would not have played because the Dodgers threw, 3 lefties? He wouldn't have started a game, right?
Wouldn't even have played a game.
He would have started the Glasnow game.
Yeah.
That would have been the only game that Brandon Marsh started in. So if the organization tells you that, I can't just say, yeah, you know what, you're right. Brandon Marsh is going to have a breakout season at the age of 30. Like, it's all of a sudden going to change.
It's finally going to click. He's going to put together everything's going to work for him.
But there are people that believe in it.
Oh, my gosh.
And so I'm curious, on our text line, 610-632-0975, before we play a couple of more clips from Dave Dombrowski, and we talked about Mike McDaniel getting the offensive coordinator position with the Chargers, so that's another name off the list for the Eagles. What are people saying about Dave Dombrowski and the state of the Phillies roster if they're happy with it, if they are content with it?
This texter says, to hear anyone say they are content about anything nauseates me. This guy has done nothing but slipping into his Red Sox pajamas that are monogrammed every night and think about how good his ball club is. I also don't understand how we're a big market team and there are still big market guys out there and we are, quote unquote, content.
Because the big market guys are already here.
I mean, he's done. Look, the majority of what Dave Dombrowski's done since he's been here is the vast majority of what he's done is just throw money at free agents.
Yeah.
Or throw money and re-sign guys.
And by the way, throw money at bad free agents. Like Kepler getting $10 million last year was embarrassing.
The Trey Turner contract is horrendous. It's horrendous. And I don't care what anybody says. You can spin to me anyway. Oh, he's a batting title winner. There's never been a batting title winner that has less. Nobody cares in Major League Baseball about Trey Turner. You could have moved, and by the way, you could have moved that contract.
But they didn't.
There's nobody that's saying, yeah, give me Trey Turner for another 9 years.
What else we got on the text line, Connor?
All right, John V checks in, says, I'm disappointed and not optimistic that the Phillies can overcome their slumps in the playoffs. The big players go cold and get all pouty and quiet. The Phillies needed a big name that could add some spice and shake it up and get the lineup going and get them out of a slump, and they have not done that.
I like the word spice.
Yeah.
And you talked about it before. Holy homogenistic Batman.
Yeah.
Like they have a bland approach.
Well, and to me, that,
and the manager sums it up.
To me, that carries into the playoffs.
Yes.
Like, all right, I'm gonna try to keep myself as calm as possible.
All right.
So think about this for a
channel
second.
your inner Zen,
because we're about to play some audio on the Bo Bichette thing again, and how they weren't interested in opt-outs. So Dave Dombrowski, who is content with his club, right? He's content. Those are his words.
His club.
He looked at this roster and said, "Man, we could really use a Bo Bichette." So they tried to get him, right? Like, if they tried to acquire Bo Bichette, that means he thought that he could be an important piece of this team. So they don't land him. So they go back to JT Realmuto, who they already told, kick rocks, dude, we're going to sign Bo Bichette. Oh, wait, we didn't sign Bo Bichette. Please come back to me. They also said, well, according to reports, that if they acquired Bo Bichette, they had to make the money work. So they were going to trade Alec Boehm. That didn't happen. So Alec Boehm, as it stands today, is your starting third baseman, your opening day starting third baseman. That player who admitted to the media that this team, not he himself, this team gets tight in the playoffs.
I think he was speaking for himself because, I think he's speaking for himself. I don't think he speaks for any of his teammates.
The results kind of make it feel like that's true.
Remember, these are his teammates who absolutely supported the manager in benching him in the Mets series the year before. He had the full support of the veterans of this club being benched. So I don't think he speaks for the veterans. In fact, I can say to that confidently, that Alec Boehm isn't speaking for other veterans. He's speaking. He's the one scared of his own shadow.
All right.
A Punxsutawney Phil.
So even if he is just speaking for himself, he's back.
He is.
He's your starting third baseman.
Because you projected how much you couldn't stand the guy being on your team, and now you can't trade him. Because you tell everybody, we don't believe in this guy. Oh, but you want to trade for him? You want to give us something for him? No, Dave. Nobody does. Because you devalue your own stuff. You devalue it.
Mopar checks in on our YouTube chat. Another super negative morning. What do you want me to do? Be happy with the state of the Phillies? Because I'm not.
Yay! Phillies pom-poms. Yay! The Phillies are great. No, Mopar's right. Phillies are great.
They're content.
Everything's great.
They're content.
They're great. Come on.
All right, so we started the show with one of these clips. Here was Dave Dombrowski again on the Bo Bichette situation that took place last week.
I can't say that we ever thought it was done because there's a difference between, we thought we were very close to having a deal done. We thought it was going to happen, but it wasn't done. And so there's a difference between the two. And as I've explained to some other people, that it's a situation where in baseball, and agents run things differently between themselves. They do things in different ways. Until you sign a memo of understanding, you don't have a deal done. And we did not sign one of those. And it wasn't that we weren't moving towards that direction. It didn't think that we were going to get there based upon our conversations, but we did not get to that point. So I can't say that I ever thought we had it done. I did think we were going to get a deal done.
Don't sleep till you got one, Dave. Don't sleep. If it's that important a deal, you honestly don't sleep till you get it.
Yeah.
Like it's back in the day when I had to sign business deals. You would have a boss go, "Oh, so how'd the business meeting go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it went great. They really, really like it. They say," he goes, "Well, did you put a contract in front of them today?" I'd be like, "No." Like, well, why not? Well, this guy still hasn't signed up. Oh, really? Well, then why aren't you getting a meeting with him and getting it done?
Right.
Like, you don't sleep. You don't have anything done until you have it done. So he put his head in the pillow the other night, and the Mets did the end around.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
So they could have still gotten the deal done. If you remember, again, according to all reports, Bo Bichette was intrigued by the opt-out. There is a chance that Bo Bichette opts out after this season, and it was a one-year deal, even though it was a 3-year deal on paper, opt-out after year one. The Phillies don't do opt-outs. They've talked about it.
They just say no. That, by the way, I did confirm yesterday one thing. That is a Dave Dombrowski hard and fast policy. I believe when Dave Dombrowski leaves the organization, that will not be. I don't believe it's a John Middleton policy. How about that? It's a Dave Dombrowski policy. Dave Dombrowski gets to do things the way he wants to do them.
Yeah.
But I believe when Dave Dombrowski leaves the organization, the Phillies' policy on that may change.
I understand sticking to your beliefs, but like if you have the money, you're going to sign players, right? Like Bryce Harper may have picked here over a couple other teams, but let's face it, Bryce Harper came here because they were willing to pony up $330 million, right?
Correct.
Like that's why he didn't come here because he loves the city of Philadelphia so much. As much as he'll tell you that and get tattoos about it, like he signed here because he got $330 million.
He'll try to convince you, but
Bo Bichette would have signed here if the Phillies offered him an opt-out contract. At least that's what it seems.
No, he would have.
After the Mets said, hey, we'll give you this, they then call the Phillies. The Phillies say, no, here's Dave Dombrowski talking about it.
Well, we really were not interested in doing that type of deal. We had talked about that in the very beginning.
They weren't going to do it.
And that's just so what you say to people is, then you really aren't in on the biggest names in baseball. So again, it's one of the things that I said to you before where I don't believe when the Phillies are talking about the Phillies are in on this guy. Phillies are in on the when you put it out there as an organization, we are not doing that. You just say no. We're not into that. You're not in on the biggest players in baseball because the majority of them now are working this into deals. So you're just saying we're closed for business. We're closed-minded. We're not listening. No.
I don't think that's fair. Because
Explain why.
It was reported that they had basically a handshake agreement on this, where Bo Bichette went to them, said, I want 7 years, $200 million, and the Phillies came to that price. And then a last-second party came to the table, which they didn't expect. Now, should they have expected it? Maybe not. But
wait. Stop right there, though. I get what you just said. You should not expect that for the top players in the game that somebody's going to come to the table with opt-outs as an option?
Well, I'm just saying, if a player tells you, we do 7 years, $200 million, it's a done deal, and you offer that to that player, you expect to get that deal done.
Yeah, but he didn't say it was a done deal. Dave Dombrowski just told you that it wasn't a done deal.
He said nothing was signed, but that was what was reported.
And there was no agreement. They didn't even come to the agreement.
It's not just Bo Bichette. They signed the runner-up to NL MVP this year. To say that they don't play in the market for big-time players is not fair.
I didn't say that. I said there's going to be players, the majority of them,
that want the opt-out.
That want opt-outs now. The majority of guys that are the big-name players are now playing in the opt-out world. So when you say as an organization blanketly, no, we're not doing opt-outs, then you're saying we're closed for business. No, we're going to run up the price for other people.
You're closed to some guys. You're not closed for business.
Yeah, but you're closed when someone else comes to the table. Go, we can get Bichette over the Phillies because we're going to get him over them because we'll offer him an opt out. They won't.
Plus, we also I have to assume that Bichette's camp called the Phillies and said, "Hey, the Mets are giving us the opt out."
Yes.
Do you still believe? Did you stand by what you told us early on in the process? Because you heard him say it. We were very clear from the beginning that we don't do it. Do you still feel this way? And Dave Dombrowski made it said, "Yep," and he hung up the phone.
And if the Mets had gotten Tucker, okay, so let's say the Mets had gotten Tucker the night before. I guarantee you, with a capital G, the Dodgers would have called Bichette because they were in on Bichette, and they would have said, "Okay, Bichette. Now we're pivoting to you, just like the Mets did."
Right.
And the Dodgers would have pivoted,
and
the Dodgers would have done whatever they had to do. So the Phillies were never going to be the answer here anyway because Dave Dombrowski he's playing 1990s baseball with an antiquated system where he's like, nope, we're not doing what other top businesses do. We're ignoring best practices. And look, you may not like opt-outs. Dave Dombrowski might not like them. But if the other top businesses that he's competing with do them, you either play ball or you're not getting the best guys. You're not getting the best guys. And when you have guys like the other day, and I'm drawing a blank on who we had the interview. I'm drawing a blank. Bob Nightingale. Come on here and have to say, oh, well, they got Bryce Harper. And he signed the long-term deal, and he accepted the long-term contract. Yes, and within 4 years, he tried to renegotiate his contract twice.
By the way, the opt-out is becoming more popular because
it
the money keeps on piling up, right? Like
right.
For all the remember all the baseball's dying conversations? Like
not anymore.
That maybe from a viewership standpoint, it was going down, and since it's gone up, money kept going up. And these
revenues are going up.
And these guys saw, like Manny Machado, the year that the Phillies signed Harper, remember it was Harper or Machado. Machado signed a contract with what, a 2-year opt-out or a 3-year opt-out, immediately opted out, and then they renegotiated, and he made more money because he played toward that. That's going to be, a lot of guys will gamble on that, right, where they're going to say, hey, give me the Bo Bichette, $47 million is insane, right?
It's insane.
If he has a horrible season, he'll opt in because he's still getting paid $47 million next year.
He'll hold the cards, but this is what these guys are going to do.
If he has a great season, he may say, man, check the market for me.
But this conversation's out the window in a year. That's the other thing, right?
Well,
this is the last time we're having this conversation.
You think? Yeah.
Why? Because of the
structure of how guys get paid it's changing after this year.
Yeah, but what he's going to do is he's going to opt in then. Then he'll opt in.
No, I'm not talking about Bichette. I'm talking about this whole opt-out policy that the Phillies have. The whole structure of how baseball pays guys is going to change in a year. So if this bothers you now, there's a good chance it's not going to be the same way that we're complaining about it today. It's annoying in the moment, But for this as a conversation going forward, like the Phillies can't play in that league if they do this, the league's not going to be the same league.
All right. Ultimately, let's play the clip one more time before we check our text line again. At the end, this was Dave Dombrowski when asked if there's any moves left on the table.
Well, I really can't speak to that by the baseball rules. But because they're free agents. But I just say I think we're content where we are at this point.
They're content. Chuck on our YouTube chat. Andrew looks like he lost his puppy again. The attitude is horrible and ridiculous. No respect for this team. I respect them. They're a 90-win baseball team.
Say again what you like about this team. Because you've said it, by the way, I believe at least 4 or 5 times today you've talked about the things you like. So just in case he didn't hear you,
bullpen is tremendous. There is questions about the rotation, but they still have enough arms that they can win baseball games during the regular season. Harper, Turner, and Schwarber will have productive seasons. It's going to be the same topic come October. Do the bats go cold? Do the bats get tight, like Alec Boehm admitted? Because it's been the same story. I had a guy yesterday on social media. You can't compare the Dodgers exit to the Mets exit because they're two totally different teams. I can. You know why? Because it was the same story. The bats disappeared. The bats disappeared last year.
Totally disappeared.
The bats disappeared in 2024. The bats disappeared in 2023. That same guy said, well, don't totally blame the bats in 23. Craig Kimbrell blew a save in 2023. Jeff Hoffman blew a save in 2024.
Game 6 and Game 7.
Matt Strahm blew a game in 2025. It's the same story. Your bats don't save them. The bats have not saved the Phillies in 23, 24, 25, regardless of opponent. Whether it's the Dodgers and the team that won the World Series or the Diamondbacks and Mets, it's been the same story that we have complained about ad nauseum.
And the same guys tend to be coming up small over and over again.
And the same guys are back, John.
Yep.
They're all back.
But this year it's going to be different, and they're just older. Yep.
What else we got on the text line, Connor?
Kyle from Fox Chase checks in, says before his comments yesterday, I was looking at current free agents and thought maybe something else could happen and was starting to think, I'm ready to get hurt again. But after that comment, heck no.
Yeah, that's why, John Morosi wasn't reporting anything. He was just speculating, the Phillies could be on Framber Valdez. I basically was told yesterday that that's not happening. I didn't believe it to begin with, but
who do you think let that out?
I don't think that's a let out. I think that's a guy looking at the roster.
Yeah, I think that's a guy looking at rosters. But Dave Dombrowski told you, no, we're content.
It was never going to. Here's the biggest issue with a lot of folks in this fan base, and definitely you, Andrew.
Hello.
That I don't know where. I don't think John's as much in your camp at this. You set an unfair bar for what was possible this offseason. I'm not talking about what the Phillies could have done, what the Phillies were going to do. I've been telling you since the season ended, it's going to be Schwarber back, it's going to be JT back, it's going to be Band-Aids. And everyone heard all these rumors about these big-time players, whether it's Eugenio Suarez or Bo Bichette or now Framber Valdez, and they bought into the idea that the Phillies weren't going to do what they've been telling you they're going to do.
Bro, I bought into Bichette because it seemed real. Right? And Dombrowski literally said in the clips that we've played twice now that he thought he had a deal, just wasn't signed. But forget Bo Bichette.
Just think of this for a second. Or he's trying to make you believe that today.
Sure.
To make you not think that they seem as dumb as they could be.
I didn't think that they were going to get Kyle Tucker. I didn't think that was something that was happening. What I needed to see, Connor, was change. And they didn't. Let's go around the diamond, all right? Your starting catcher will be JT Realmuto, who has been a part of the teams that have collapsed in the years that we just talked about. Your starting first baseman, you aren't going to move him, is Bryce Harper, and I'm okay with Bryce Harper being back. Your starting second baseman will be Bryson Stott, who they have told you now 4 straight postseasons is not an everyday player. He might be an everyday player in the regular season, but come playoff time, they're going to bench his ass for Edmundo Sosa if there's a lefty on the mound, or they will take him out of the game if a lefty comes in. Alec Boehm is your third baseman who has been a part of the last 4 collapses in Major League on this baseball team. Trey Turner is the shortstop that's come up small the last 3. As John said, they could have moved him. They didn't.
Somebody would have they would have had interest in that contract. MLB Network's talked about it. You could have moved that contract. There would have been at least a couple teams that would have considered it.
There is a world that Brandon Marsh is still your starting outfielder. And what has he done in the postseason? Been benched against left-handed pitching. Adolis Garcia is a tick better than Nick Castellanos.
Yeah.
So what I needed to see change. I needed to see a makeover.
You're still missing it. I know what you needed to see. I wanted to see that too.
And that's why I'm pissed off, dude, because they didn't do it.
You did, as Connor's trying to tell you,
You built this up yourself.
You bought into it. And we tried to tell you.
I thought Dave Dombrowski would get freaking creative.
Then that's on you.
We tried to tell you.
Man, it's on him.
No, because everything we've learned is he doesn't do that.
We tried to tell you. We told everybody. And last week, I got to tell you. And again, it is. And I will say it. Last Friday, you and Amy were spiking the football,
yeah,
and Connor and I. Yeah. Hey, still no chance.
Because I thought I thought the Hall of Fame executive would be able to get a deal done.
You guys were spiking the football, thinking it was over, and I'm going, I'm going to believe that Dave Dombrowski is who he says he is.
I'm not happy.
I mean, we're not going to be right.
But I'm in no way surprised.
No, I'm not
but you know
surprised
what?
in the least.
That to me kind of makes it feel like you're letting him off the hook.
No, we're not letting him off the hook.
Like I need to hear some anger out of you.
What do you
Connor.
want me to do? Fire him? I'm not in charge of the team.
I want you to be angry. You don't seem that angry.
No, I'm angry. You're sad. You said you're sad. I'm angry.
Well, yeah.
You got to be with me.
I'm told you, my emotions will be all over
And
the place.
everybody's picking on you for some reason.
None of them's happy, though. Coming up next, we go shopping. Non-Phillies related, because the Phillies, their pockets are empty. If A.J. Brown is truly getting traded, you need another wide receiver. By the way, the latest report on A.J. Brown and where he could go. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, the Fanatic. Oh, let's talk about that FanDuel Sportsbook app, where I would not bet the Phillies to win the World Series. FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. Pick the matchups you believe in, take your shot on an upset, or build a parlay that fits the moment. I will not take a shot on the upset for the Denver Broncos. The line is standing at 5.5. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. A lot of you probably feel that way. I'm taking the Patriots 5.5, and I would jump on it now so that it doesn't climb up as we get closer to game time. Then apply your profit boost, go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. Just visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. You got to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania, opt-in required. Bonus issued as knowledgeable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Dombrowski reacts to the offseason. I'm Connor Thomas, and just a few days after the Phillies re-signed JT Realmuto, he and Dave Dombrowski met with the media yesterday, and most of the questions were pointed at Dombrowski, who was asked multiple times how he feels about the status of his team with the offseason nearly concluded.
I think overall of the wintertime, I like our club. We have a good club. You know, I've just said it's a situation. People forget we re-signed Schwartz. If we hadn't re-signed him, I don't know how I would be feeling about the wintertime.
Dombrowski went on to say that there probably won't be other big moves coming, so we'll see if they can prove with this current roster that on the field this year that they are a good club. Pitchers and catchers report to Clearwater 3 weeks from today. Sixers fell to the Suns 116-110 last night. No Joel Embiid, no Paul George on the back end of a back-to-back. Devin Booker, 27 points to lead all scorers. The Sixers are off tonight. Flyers are in Utah taking on the Mammoth, 9 p.m. puck drop. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatic. In football, Mike McDaniel is expected to become the new OC of the Chargers. Eagles are still trying to figure out their replacement for Kevin Patullo. The market's starting to thin out a bit. We'll talk to Adam Schefter about the latest on that at 8:05. This update is brought to you by IHOP. IHOP's value menu is here. Enjoy breakfast favorites like pancakes, eggs and bacon, French toast with sausage, or a cheesy omelet with pancakes, all for just $6. Go to your happy plates with the $6 IHOP value menu. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Don't worry, Dave Dombrowski conversation continues. He's content with the roster. Are you? 610-632-0975. I understand. I'm so angry, over the top angry. I'm sorry, I can't just sit here.
You're sad. You're the one who's sad.
Or sad. No, I mean, there's people that are like, oh my God, they're gonna be fine. I don't want fine. I want great, and this team isn't great, and I hold them to that standard, and I am upset by it. Sad, angry, whatever emotion at any given minute, it might change. My emotions will probably swing with this baseball team, and none of them will be relatively all that positive, other than sitting down and watching a damn ball game. Because ultimately, that's what I want to do. But in May and June and July and August and September, I will be thinking, do they come through in October? And I don't believe that they will. And that sucks to feel that way in January. But we're not just talking Phillies today. We got the Eagles as well. Mike McDaniel, offensive coordinator of the Los Angeles Chargers. So you can cross that name off the list if you were hopeful that McDaniel would be the OC of the Eagles.
We didn't even interview.
No, he went to the Chargers. I'm telling you, it's the weather, man.
It's not the
He's
weather.
an LA guy. He's an LA guy, though.
He's not an LA guy. He's never been an LA guy.
All right, he's a warm weather guy.
He's a Colorado guy. It's not warm weather in Colorado.
Yeah, but this stage of his life. You saw the video of him in Miami. He had the nice, souped up car, the big aviators.
Dude, he did not pick a job because of the weather. He did not pick a job because of the weather. That's ridiculous.
There was no way he was going to Cleveland.
That is ridiculous. Well, no, going to Cleveland, that's a whole nother issue.
Right.
He did not pick a job, though, because of the weather.
Yeah.
He did not go work. Believe me, you do not go work for an insufferable, like Jim Harbaugh. Like, because of that. He went to work with that quarterback thinking he can fix that quarterback and parlay it into a great job in the future.
In LA.
That's what he did.
In L.A., which is nice.
No, he didn't pick it because his wife is from L.A., though.
Ah,
so that could have played it.
I was saying.
So that could play it. He's from Colorado.
Just
He's from a colder weather area. He's not a hot weather guy. I don't know where this whole thing comes from with people.
Remember the whole Nicholas Batum thing? His wife didn't want to come here because she loved L.A. so much.
Well, that was absolutely was one of the reasons. Russell Wilson
and then
Sierra,
he went back. Oh yeah,
Sierra did not want to live in Philadelphia.
Thank God.
And then
thank God for Sierra.
But then they were quick to live in New York to
Very
try
talented
to
lady.
try to live one more year.
Talented
in the NFL.
lady, but yeah.
So the offensive coordinator, whoever it may be, will have to wonder if A.J. Brown is going to be on this team. And it feels like it's heading toward that not being the case.
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
There's just too much smoke there, right? Say what you want about who you believe and all that kind of stuff. Adam Schefter, 3 days after, by the way, it's an Adam Schefter Wednesday. He joins us at 8:05 this morning. 3 days after the Eagles got eliminated, he did not believe that A.J. Brown would be back. Jeremy Fowler, that same day on Middays with Marks, did not believe that A.J. Brown would be back. Then Joe Santoliquito has the story last week that A.J. Brown had been requesting a trade since week 3 of this past season. Speaking of Jeremy Fowler, he always does a tremendous job for ESPN, ESPN.com. He talked to people around the league about predictions for trades, players that could be on their way out. Apparently, there's actually some talk about the Raiders being in on Lamar Jackson, which would be interesting because
I could see that.
They have the number one overall.
Well, they wouldn't
pick.
trade the number one pick for him.
No, I don't think so either. What I'm saying is they would then use that number one overall pick for something else because you're not going to trade for Lamar and then also draft Mendoza.
Correct. I got to tell you, I'm not drafting.
I agree with you. I think he's good.
I think he's good. He's
number one overall pick.
No, I would never draft Mendoza.
I don't.
First of all, I don't know that plays in an NFL locker room. Like his whole shtick. I don't think it. Not shtick. I shouldn't say shtick. It's who the young man is. I don't know that leads an NFL team.
We'll see. So A.J. Brown obviously was one of the talking points in his article where he spoke to people around the league. Brown's happy to be here quotient in Philly is miserably low. He's a great player, and great players are hard to replace, but the Eagles have never been scared to make a move due to the salary cap implications. The Eagles actually can save $7 million on the cap by trading Brown after June 1st, and it feels like it's time. Some league execs have felt that way since October. So for people that don't believe in Joe Santoliquito, executives believe that's been the case since October. The teams that they are looking at: Titans, Browns, Niners, Raiders. There's no way they're trading him to San Francisco.
He is not being traded in the NFC.
They can't.
So rule that out. They're not going to put him. They're not going to let A.J. Brown potentially come back and haunt them in the conference.
Yeah.
So rule those out.
So you got Raiders, Titans, Browns.
And by the way, those three teams track because you're not getting a first-round pick for him either. Not with that contract that someone has to assume. So you're talking about teams where if you did trade and you potentially got a third-round pick, I don't think you're getting a second-round pick either. But if you got a third-round pick and a fifth-round pick or whatever, the pick's going to be pretty valuable as a third-round pick or something like that. So, yeah, those are some good teams. I want them on the worst team possible.
Well, because
I'm going to be petty about it.
We'll see if that's the case because the team that they talked about the most in the article, I skipped it because I wanted to give you the other teams first, Buffalo, which we talked about that last week. Like, if there's a team that's desperate for a wide receiver that's good, that would pay. Like Buffalo, I know nobody wants to make excuses for Josh Allen. I'm not going to. He's the reason why they lost that game last week against the Broncos.
He is.
But if Josh Allen had A.J. Brown, maybe it's a little bit different, right? Because Khalil Shakir is a guy. Keon Coleman, they don't want to play. Shavers is a guy who blocks. He's Zach Pascal, right? Like
yes, exactly.
That's what he is. So the Bills may be a little bit more desperate, and maybe they pay a little bit more in terms of draft capital.
Yeah, but I think you could potentially get Buffalo to give up a second-round pick.
Yeah, it would be a late second rounder.
Late second because they're going to be towards the back of the round.
Yeah, but you're going to new head coach.
Head coach. No, I could see that coming.
Hey, get our quarterback, the guy that this team's built off of, a wide receiver.
I could see that absolutely potentially happening.
Yeah, and there was an interesting report yesterday that Sean McDermott, like 5 weeks ago, said to brass in Buffalo, like, hey, we don't have championship players on this team.
We don't have enough. This roster's not good enough.
Which he wasn't totally wrong.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say to you.
You got to make the most of it, but
the Bills were the Super Bowl favorites before the year.
Is that how it came out at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, the Bills were the Super Bowl favorites. Bills, Ravens, Eagles.
Right.
Bills, Ravens, Eagles, and who was else in Detroit, was it? I can't remember who were the top four teams. So, cry me a river, Sean McDermott. Like, that's a Weasley thing to be doing right before the playoffs.
I got you. Yeah.
So
it's because
you're one of the best teams in the NFL, one of the best teams, one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl, and then in December you're bitching and complaining about
what he's
your team.
doing. If we lose, don't fire me.
Exactly.
This is why.
Exactly.
Joe on our YouTube chat, third round pick is valuable? ? Really? Again, you got to take into account AJ's contract.
By the way, AJ Brown was a mid to late second round pick.
Yeah, but you trade a first to get him.
No, I understand. But but the thing is you drafted him he was drafted like in the 50s. So yes, it's valuable.
Well, it's valuable because you're right, because you could get a player, but it's also valuable because the team that they trade him to is picking up that contract. It's like the Castellanos.
You're not getting a first round pick. I've seen stuff online with people going, yeah, you can get a first round pick for AJ. No, you can't.
Yeah, that's
not with that contract. You're not. No one's taking on that kind of money and then saying, "Oh yeah, we'll give you a first round pick too."
In the world of everybody has a podcast, somebody said second round pick and Justin Jefferson.
That's so stupid.
I saw that online.
Now, wait a minute. Now, if you said to me, Justin Jefferson in a swap with AJ Brown and the Eagles give up something else,
I do that in a heartbeat.
No, I believe that could potentially happen. I believe there could be player that gets swapped. How about this for my Mo Moten, a real good guy who covers the Raiders? What about a Max Crosby wants out? What if Max Crosby, AJ Brown, the Eagles give up something in a deal? Eagles give up some picks plus AJ Brown and get Max Crosby.
Sure.
Would you do that? But the thing is, I don't think they'd have the money to pay the defensive players that they want to play. So I don't think that's happening.
Here's the funny thing.
I don't think that's happening.
Max Crosby, Mr. I want out of here. Oh, you're going to pay me? Okay. Now I want out of here again.
No, but that's what they do. That's what they always do.
I know. It just makes me laugh.
It's a gig.
So you have a shopping list.
Yeah, a little shopping list.
What we got?
So here's what it is. If you're talking about A.J. Brown, now look, all of us, Connor, vote. Andrew, vote. all of us would rather not see AJ go. We'd love to see it have one more time, correct?
Correct.
Yeah,
I want
as a player,
him here.
absolutely.
I want him here in Philadelphia as a player. Yeah.
But I absolutely will say, AJ, if you're going to act like a grown man and stop acting like a kid and start behaving yourself. But if you're there, I would love to see you have a chance with the new offense coordinator and see how this works. But here's what I'm going to tell you. You're either going to have to go to the draft or go to free agency. And if you're going to go to free agency, the pickings are slim.
Yeah.
The pickings are really slim if you're talking about wide receivers in free agency, because if you want something good, the question is, what would you be willing to spend? And you're not going to spend a lot of money in free agency because you're going to be eating a lot of money getting rid of A.J. Brown.
And you're also getting ready to pay the defense.
Correct. So you can take Mike Evans off your board.
Yeah.
And by the way, a lot of people think Mike Evans could leave Tampa because he's going to be 33. He could leave. Mike Evans, take off your board. He's not coming in.
Sure.
You can't pay him. Christian Kirk interest you at all?
Not really.
He's a talented receiver with a group of receivers. I mean, look, he played actually pretty well in the game with C.J. Stroud.
But
threw
does he
4
interest you
interceptions.
at all? Now, you see, to me, he sort of intrigues me.
I thought he was a wholly overpay when the Jags signed him.
So
and
do
then
I.
eventually he got traded to Houston.
Right.
He's a nice receiver. I mean, look, it depends. Is he now your number 2? Because Devontae would be looked at as your number 1.
How about De'Ami Brown out of Jacksonville? No interest?
Not like
Not
Okay,
really.
Tutu Atwell?
AJ Brown replacement.
Tutu Atwell?
No.
These are guys.
See, this is what I'm telling you. This is where we're at. Marquise Brown?
No.
No.
Hollywood. Is he going to play 8 games for you?
Juwan Jennings? It's a
Juwan
bad
Jennings
like this is
more interesting. I
Juwan
guess.
Jennings is at least interesting, but is he going to play enough games?
Here's what's going to happen to Juwan Jennings. He's going to get overpaid
And then,
because he's been the receiver. Everybody was hurt with San Francisco. He put up good numbers this year.
well, here's what I'm going to tell you. Juwan Jennings is the one that interests me, but he's going to get overpaid, so he's almost out of the market. The money that I'm going to tell you, if you're replacing A.J. Brown, you have to go to the draft. And here's the good news. 2nd and 3rd round wide receivers, there's a plethora.
Oh, yeah, you can make it happen.
There's a plethora. And A.J. Brown, again, was a 2nd round wide receiver.
Right, and you can't say a rookie won't make an impact. Look at what Ibuka did for the Buccaneers before everybody got hurt.
There is a great way to replace him, but I'm telling you right now, start looking at the draft because A.J.'s going to be replaced in the draft.
Yep. All right, coming up next, man, there's a lot of areas in the draft they have to replace or plan the future with. Coming up next is today's headlines with Connor Thomas. Don't forget, 8:05 Wednesdays with Schefter, the latest with the Eagles offseason. That comes your way in the 8 o'clock hour here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Salciunas is back from the break. I wonder what they're going to get into.
Well, we're about to get into today's headlines with Connor Thomas. But before we do that, can you please hit the music? Because meteorologist John Kincade.
I love these storms and everything. It's fun.
What are we potentially in store for this weekend, Johnny?
Well, I reached out to a national meteorologist and just said.
Oh wait, so you're not the meteorologist?
No, I'm not. I love to play one on the radio. Though I said, "What's it looking like for the storm this weekend?" And he said, "Give me your zip code, the exact zip code where your station is." So I gave him the zip code for Ballackinwood, and he said the 3 models as of right now. And he goes, "We do not." He goes, "A proper meteorologist would not forecast any kind of snow for this storm on Wednesday morning.
Okay.
It's way too far out, and the models have been, it's been too wobbly a storm." He uses the word wobbly. But he says right now, the 3 models say 11, 11, 12. 4
Centimeters?
inches of snow.
Oh, inches. Oh.
No. So 11, 11, 12. So that means, now that was, and he points out to me, that is more than, if you had asked me yesterday morning, that's more than yesterday. I wouldn't be shocked if tomorrow that number was higher or slightly lower. The one thing I'm confident to say, and not a forecast, is that you aren't missing a snowstorm.
I'm opting out of the Northeast.
He said, well, we're
Well, Dave Dombrowski won't allow it.
You are not missing a snowstorm, is what he says. The only thing he's confident in saying is, you guys are not missing a snowstorm in that zip code area. You're not missing a snowstorm.
So what
It's
you're
gonna
saying
hit you.
is Sunday night hotel night is a
Yeah, a little Sunday hotel night. Well,
possibility
hey,
here
hey,
at the Fanatic.
NFC, AFC championship games.
Dry January is ending.
Yeah,
Little dinner.
We're
I'm
drinking
telling you
beers.
right now, I already told Christy yesterday, dry January is done if I have to stay at a hotel with you knuckleheads.
Yeah, we're partying.
All right.
How about that?
All right, well, there's your update from meteorologist John Kincade. Time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
Traffic on the 1s and 2s brought to you by our friends over at Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. And we have some new traffic patterns heading towards Cooperstown. The Baseball Hall of Fame class of this year has been announced. 2 inductees. Carlos Beltran makes it in. Andrew Jones makes it in. Important for Phillies fans. Chase Utley, a sizable jump.
Yep.
He was the 3rd highest vote getter at 59.1%.
And he climbed, 30% from last year? I think
It was,
the number was
more than a 20%
Well, he had a
jump
great
there.
year last year.
Yeah, he did. He really upped those numbers. J-Roll took a little bit of a jump, and Cole Hamels on his first year on the ballot, 23.8%.
I'm shocked by Cole Hamels.
I am too.
Shocked.
Not that we don't want him to get in.
Look, I'd celebrate it. I would celebrate if he made it. I was shocked that he
shocked,
got
too.
that much vote. I understand World Series MVP. The 2009 season was a disaster, and he was good. But I guess maybe the lefty starting pitcher thing is something. But he pitched in the same era as Clayton Kershaw.
It's the Cam Jurgens Pro Bowl. Like, no one's going to complain about them being in. But you're going to ask,
No, you just wonder
exactly
the stability.
did
It's
that
again, John has said this a lot of times. It's becoming the Hall of Very Good.
It's the Hall of Very Good. There honestly, there needs to be like one wing of like the great players that are in the Baseball Hall of Fame, and then the Hall of Very Good.
Yeah, like
Because there's guys that just aren't the same
he
level.
was tremendous. He doesn't scream Hall of Fame.
Well, I mean, I got to tell you, I'd never watched Carlos Beltran and felt like I was watching one of the all-time greats. I didn't.
Defensively, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Andrew Jones his whole career. From the time he came up, got to know Andrew, got to watch him. I always watched Andrew Jones and felt I was watching one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, but they're both in now, so
I
congratulations.
think it's great for them.
And
Great
we'll
for
see. Chase probably has the best chance of
Yeah,
those 3.
he'll-
Which I can't understand.
He's going to make it.
It's trending that way. This is a numbers thing. It's not a surprise. I remember Matt Breen, who does a tremendous job, used to cover the Phillies for the Inquirer. Now does like big picture stuff, stories, not just sports.
Sure.
And he came on with me a couple of years ago about Chase Utley when his first year of the ballot, and he was talking about how he is destined for the Hall of Fame because if you look at his like advanced metric stats, and there are people that don't cover the Phillies that vote. So what do? They go to Baseball Reference. They go to ESPN Stats and Information. And they see, oh, my God, look at his WAR. He has to be a Hall of Famer. Whereas if you covered the Phillies, watched the Phillies, were a Phillies fan, you knew that Jimmy Rollins was the catalyst of that baseball team.
Jimmy Rollins is the Phillies.
Ryan Howard was
but
the
you
most.
don't really have the context
Right.
for it.
Ryan Howard was the most feared hitter of that team.
Right.
Ryan Howard's WAR is like 1.
Yes.
Like it's actually not that good.
Ryan
but
Howard, though, is too small a sample size for.
Right.
No, I'm not
But
saying
we
he
have-
should have gone
We
to
have
the
the
Hall of
feel,
Fame.
and
Right.
the national audience doesn't necessarily have
Right,
the feel.
exactly.
Now, we got a pretty good feel on the
I'm not saying Chase isn't a
NFC
Hall of
South
Famer
coming up.
but like Rollins to me is the guy.
We got a pretty good feel on the NFC South coming up because I'm not sure if you guys saw this from Baker Mayfield's X account, but D. Orlando Ledbetter put out a tweet about Falcons' new head coach Kevin Stefanski and saying he had a dumpster fire at quarterback in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson failed, and he goes on. Baker Mayfield went with the quote tweet, and he said, "Failed is quite the reach, pal. Still waiting on a text/call from him after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, coach."
And then what happened?
He got community noted
He got community noted.
they had community note him on X
Elon's a big Falcons fan.
because
Must be.
it's really strange that there must have been too many concussions that Baker Mayfield forgets that he is the one who requested a trade publicly and asked out. It was not Kevin Stefanski pushing him out. It was him asking out.
I don't even care who's right or wrong.
No, I'm ready. I'm ready
I
for the
love
fire,
that we
yeah.
got public.
Oh, I
beef.
like it too. It's going to be fun.
Good for the
Look at
league.
that.
It makes me think of Baker back in college with the flag planting, the Oklahoma flag.
By the way,
I'm
it's
excited for that.
Back
Yeah.
to national TV. That game's going on national TV
Oh, you know it.
when they play the first game.
And that's a beautiful thing. The more rivalries,
Yes,
the more
we
people
like
who
that.
don't like each other,
Yes.
the better.
I've said I'm pro sports hate. There's too many friends in sports these days.
too much games,
too much slap
too much
ass.
grab ass.
Yeah.
It's too much of it.
So I'll back Baker if it makes the league more exciting.
I need
I
sports
love it.
hate.
I love
baby.
it. I love Baker. I got to tell you, I love Baker Mayfield's game anyway. I love watching him. So one of my favorite players to watch.
I still can't believe they blew that division.
Can't believe it either.
All right, coming up next, Adam Schefter joins us at 8:05. We'll check a couple text messages beforehand, but what's the story of the Eagles offseason? A.J. Brown, the latest. Is it inevitable that he will no longer be a wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles? What is that price tag for an A.J. Brown? What's the cost for other teams, landing spots? We'll get into all of it with Adam Schefter and, of course, the vacant offensive coordinator position. Did Mike McDaniel go to the Chargers because of the weather? I'm joking. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies roster seems set. I'm Connor Thomas, and just a few days after the Phillies re-signed catcher JT Realmuto, he and Dave Dombrowski met with the media yesterday, and the more pressing questions were poised to the president of baseball operations, who talked about the offseason so far, mentioned that the roster seems pretty set. Now, how does he feel about that roster?
I feel great about our club going to spring training. I think we have a very good chance. We won 96 games last year. We've got a different outfield in Garcia that we think can come back and have a big year for us. We made some changes in the bullpen.
The collective eye roll of the fan base was nearly audible yesterday, but we'll see if they can prove that on the field this year. Pitchers and catchers report to Clearwater 3 weeks from today. The Sixers fell to the Suns 116-110 last night. No Joel Embiid or Paul George on the back end of a back-to-back. Devin Booker led all scorers with 27. Sixers are off tonight. Flyers are in Utah taking on the Mammoth tonight at 9 p.m. You can hear that game live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And in football, Mike McDaniel is expected to become the new offensive coordinator of the Chargers. The Eagles are still trying to figure out their replacement for Kevin Patullo as the market begins to thin out a bit. So we'll go to the expert. Adam Schefter joins us next for the latest on the Eagles OC search. This update is brought to you by Audible. If you're stuck in traffic, take care of you with help from the top voices in well-being on Audible. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com/wellbeing. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
may give them a hard time, but they're really not that bad, at least most of the time. Now let's listen to more Kincade and Salciunas before I change my mind.
Don't change your mind, Ricky. Adam Schefter joining us coming up at 8:05 to talk about the
tune in for Adam.
A.J. Brown stuff, vacant offensive coordinator position, Brian Dable being interviewed yesterday. I'm also curious to talk to Schefter. We like to also branch out outside of Philadelphia with Schefter every once in a while. How crazy this offseason has been for head coaching changes.
10. I never remember 10.
10 head coach. And is that the direction? So there was the Jeff McClain's report the other day on his podcast, Uncovering the Birds, about how Nick Sirianni was almost fired after the 2023 season.
I listened to it all, and it's a really good listen if you haven't had.
He also talked about the bye week in 2024, that it wasn't on the verge of, but there was talks within the Eagles of moving on from Nick Sirianni. And he said Jeffrey Lurie has become almost more impatient with coaches. Is that a Lurie thing, or is that the NFL? Because look at it, 10 coaches were moved on from. Now, 2 of them were there forever.
Just look at it in the prism of comparing it to Dave Dombrowski's leadership, too, and John Middleton's leadership. John Middleton can say all he wants, a quote from years ago of, "Give me my effing trophy back."
Right.
His actions don't show it, even though I will never get on him about spending money because he spent the money. But he doesn't have the same level of accountability within his franchise that Jeffrey Lurie holds his responsibility.
Absolutely not.
Not even close. So,
Look, I like Rob Thompson, but think about this for a second.
I didn't want him back as manager.
When we had Bob Nightingale on earlier this week, and Bob goes, look, the only disappointment has been the playoffs.
What does that mean?
I know.
What does it mean?
And he compares him to Buffalo. Well, later that day, it was the same day, it's just Bob was on at 8:05 in the morning, Sean McDermott was fired.
And by the way, Sean McDermott, a lot more success than Rob Thompson.
Right, so...
A lot more.
Well...
No, I wouldn't say that.
Rob Thompson did get to his
Rob
Thompson
Thompson managed in a World Series.
Rob Thompson had a great 6 weeks of baseball.
Yeah.
And since
Sean
that
McDermott hasn't.
since that 6 weeks of baseball, when he took over another person's team and he had a great 6 weeks of baseball, everything has gone, the return on investment has been down.
He at least got to us.
And he's been given more assets.
Whatever. Bottom line is
lightning in a bottle is
Bob
2022.
Nightingale saying it's just been the playoffs. Look at Buffalo. Well, that day Sean McDermott got fired. The Phillies didn't make any changes.
No.
And I wasn't sitting here screaming for Rob Thompson to be fired, but he got an extension. Like it's so weird.
He had to get the extension.
They didn't want to be a lame duck and all that kind of stuff.
That's my biggest disappointment with the offseason is that they didn't make a coaching change.
Nothing.
I agree with you. There should have been a coaching
change.
I like the Don Mattingly.
I like Don Mattingly too. That was supposed to help you get Bo Bichette.
Remember that was going to get you Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
Remember that talk?
I don't think they did that for that.
No, but remember that was going to do that too. But all it did was, though, is thank God we got the hitting coach back because that's the only thing that got Kyle Schwarber back. People trying to spin. Bringing back Kevin Long. That got you Kyle Schwarber. Yeah, so he was going to go to the Pirates or the Orioles or the BS.
Wait,
he was.
They re-signed Kyle Schwarber?
No.
People forgot
exactly.
that.
People
Can you
forgot
play
that.
that clip again?
Oh, my
That
gosh.
was Dave Dombrowski. What clip was that, Connor? Dave Dombrowski 4. This was Dave Dombrowski yesterday talking about, of course, how he loves our club. We have a really good club, and we forgot about something.
We did rebound in the sense that we signed JT right away, which I'm very fortunate he didn't sign somewhere else. And I think overall of the wintertime, I like our club. We have a good club. You know, I've just said it's a situation. People forget we re-signed Schwarbs.
No.
Who forgot?
Who forgets Dave?
Brother, who forgot?
Dave. I'm worrying that Dave forgot. That nobody
That's
has forgotten
concerning.
in this town. Dave, nobody has forgotten.
People forget.
Nobody has forgotten a thing. The only thing we've forgotten is that we're living off of 6 good weeks of baseball in 2022. That's what we're living off of. My gosh. People forgot.
All right, Connor, what do we got on the text line as we await our man Adam Schefter to talk about the state of the Eagles?
All right, Mike from Virginia checks in, says the game, not baseball, the employment game has passed Dombrowski and other older school guys by. Gen Z is cut different, whether we're talking athletes or employees, it's no different. Dombrowski should retire. We don't appreciate how rare a character trait it is to reinvent yourself. How he did it, most cannot.
I love that message.
Yeah.
Because to me, like I know so many fans of college football that I hear of my generation. I hate it. These players, man, they have no loyalty and they jump around and they're getting this NIL money. I applaud every kid who can get NIL money from any school he can because the coaches have been whores for years.
By the way, let me ask you something. How's Dabo Sweeney doing?
Exactly.
He is so anti all that stuff.
Yeah.
And Clemson, once again.
Oh, and by the way, and Dabo makes what a year?
Yeah.
$12 million a year?
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
exactly.
like the coaches have been whores for years for whatever money they wanted. And by the way, they would jump and leave for another job with no conscience.
Yeah.
And now players can finally get paid, and you get these adults crying about it. I sent my kid to college to get a job, to make money, to pay her own bills. That's why kids go to college. Bravo. Make every dollar you can, kid.
Damn right. Damn right. Oh, man, I'm getting emotional.
You all right? You
Yeah,
are
no.
sad today.
I'm getting emotional.
Maybe
Well, yeah, 'cause-
Shefty will cheer you up.
Are you worried? What are you
He
worried
will.
about Coop going to college one day and
No, I'm
leaving
worried
you?
about the Phillies disappointing me, and it's only January.
All right.
All right, joining us now from ESPN, does a tremendous job. And, man, the city of Philadelphia always seems to be the center of the world when it comes to sports. Our man Adam Schefter joins us. Shefty, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. What's going on?
When is your
What are you
interview
upset
for
about
the
today?
OC job? That's what we're trying to figure out.
I already interviewed. But I'm thinking of joining Jim Harbaugh's staff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My first question, did Mike McDaniel go there because of the weather? That's
Well, I think that played into it probably. Like, listen.
His wife's
I
from
said,
there.
Usually, no. There we go. You just got it. Okay.
Yes.
So when you're making $27 million over the next 2 years from the Miami Dolphins, and you can go anywhere you want, sometimes, as married people know, it's best off to listen to the missus.
There you go.
and that's why the Eagles didn't get Mike McDaniel. All right, but let's start with the offensive coordinator position. We're obviously going to talk to you about A.J. Brown because Jeremy Fowler had the nice write-up yesterday about potential landing spots. I know yesterday they interviewed Brian Dable. What have you heard on the offensive coordinator front for the Eagles?
Well, I think they're being very thorough. There's a wide net of candidates, or what's the phrase I'm looking for? They're casting a wide net for candidates. So there's a lot of people that they're looking at, and they're going to take their time and be a little thorough with that and make sure that they come up with the right guy, right fit. Obviously a critically important hire for that franchise moving forward. And, I don't know if they're closer right now. They're going through their process. They're talking to people. And I think sometimes you need a little clarity. You need some pieces to fall into place before certain hires could be made. Now, Mike McDaniel obviously did not feel he was going to get a head coaching job, but there are still 6 head coach openings and people in play, and there are going to be people that don't get jobs, that want jobs, and that could influence and impact who the OC is. So from that standpoint, I think they're going through, they're talking to all their people, and you need some of these dominoes to fall before you can probably make a hire, I'm going to guess.
I'm going to ask you a question that you may not be able to answer, so if you can't, just tell me. But do you believe for an offensive coordinator candidate who interviews with the Eagles that a potential bigger hurdle for them to get over would be Nick Sirianni or Jalen Hurts?
Why do you say hurdles?
Like having to work the obstacle, the potential obstacle that they may see in their mind of having to navigate working with Nick Sirianni or having to work with Jalen Hurts. Like an offensive coordinator saying, I would have better luck fixing Jalen Hurts or working with Jalen Hurts, or that I'm going to have the
John,
flexibility to work.
That's the way you view it. I don't view it that way.
Okay, tell us how you feel then.
Like, until you asked me that, I didn't view. I view it as, I know the Eagles had a down season, relatively speaking, but like I want to go and work with all that offensive talent. I'd want to go work with Jalen. That's me, but maybe I'm missing something. Like, you're looking at it from a glass half empty perspective, and I prefer to look at it the other way. Like, hey, Nick Sirianni's won a Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts has won a Super Bowl. There's a lot of talent there. Let me go try that.
Well, is whoever gets the job going to be able to run their offense is part of the thing, too. Now, we were told in a press conference that is going to be the case, but I would wonder how much interference they're going to get because Nick Sirianni's told us over and over again he wants to run that very conservative, let's keep it close to the vest. Let's not turn it over. There's a lot of offense coordinators that don't want to play that ball.
Well, I understand, but you know what? Whoever you hire, you're going to adjust. I wouldn't think Jim Harbaugh, is going to run the kind of offense that Mike McDaniel usually does, and probably Jim's going to give in and let him do what he wants, and Mike's going to probably tinker it more to what Jim wants, and they find a common, happy ground to meet at. That's what I would think successful organizations do. You find what works for everybody, and you kind of meet there, and that's what I would think would happen. Okay, you're saying Nick wants to run a conservative offense. Maybe they hire some pass-happy coordinator, whoever that is. Like, you find a common ground there, and you make it work for what's best for the team.
Now, Schefter, you mentioned if you were available, which you are available to be an offensive coordinator, that you would take this job because of the talent on offense. Do we know if A.J. Brown will be a wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles next season? Last week you said there's enough smoke, and you mentioned New England. Yep. Does it feel like we're heading to that direction where A.J. Brown gets traded this offseason?
I still feel like my thoughts are the same, that he's a trade candidate this offseason. Doesn't mean he gets traded. But, yes, I like to think that nobody's going to call them to ask about him, or that A.J. Brown might not say to them that I'd like to be traded, or whatever combination of conversation you like. That's. I just think that's going to happen, and I think that there's going to be more about that topic this offseason.
I'm curious. There was a report at the end of last week that A.J. Brown had actually requested a trade numerous times this season, going back to week 3. Just wondering if you heard anything similar to that report.
Oh, again, there's just been that chatter. I mean, it's. I don't think it's a big deal. Like, it came up. Did I hear any chat? Yeah, I heard he wanted out. I mean, you've heard that throughout the year. What more needs to be said about it? Like, I think it came up. It was a constant source of conversation.
If you heard he wanted out, do you think that he wanted out because of a? Do you know the source of why he wanted out? Like the source of his conflict?
Well, yeah. The source would be his general level of happiness, however that is formed, however that is. It feels like you're looking for something here.
Of course I am.
I don't know.
Of course I am. You know that.
Yeah, I know you are. Okay, but usually when somebody wants to be traded, they're not overly happy in the situation. I think it's no secret that A.J. Brown wasn't overly happy at various points last year. Everybody knows that. There's nothing. So why did you want to be traded? You want me to say it's because of a certain relationship with a certain. I have no idea if that's the case. I think everything gets factored in.
Okay, can I ask you this? Am I to believe that no one's ever told you what he's upset about? They've told you that he's upset, and they've never told you what he's upset about, or you've asked that question?
I really did not do a deep dive on A.J. Brown that I remember from through. I don't remember. Like, maybe it came up, but I got to be honest. You care way more about A.J. Brown than I do.
Okay, I know that. Sure.
I got 32 teams, and I got 53 guys on every team. So A.J. Brown's name has come up on many occasions. I think we all know he was unhappy. I never did some deep psychological profile to find out why he was so miserable or why he seemed to be so unhappy.
All right, so and we're not trying to get you to say that it was Jalen Hurts or Kevin Patullo. We're just trying to confirm that.
No, I was.
Well,
I'm being honest with you. I'm trying to get I'm thinking that that somebody told Adam at some point why he was pissed off, why he's unhappy, and I'm figuring that Adam heard it. So that's why I was trying to get him to say it.
And I'm trying to figure out, is this something that they can reconcile? Like go ahead.
And I'm being honest when I tell you I never spent that much time doing a deep dive into his unhappiness level. And I mean that sincerely.
Okay.
And if it did come up, I don't remember.
All right.
Okay, fair enough. So, Schefter, I'm curious, outside of Philadelphia, even though the Eagles are looking for a vacant offensive coordinator position to be filled, and you mentioned that there's still 6 head coaching jobs open, historic 10 coaching positions that were open, head coaching positions. Is this just the way we're heading in the NFL, where it's such a what have you done for me lately league that we might see more and more of this moving forward?
Well, I think people say, have we ever seen this before? Yeah, we saw this, I think it's 4 other times, including as recently as 2022. So it's 2026. So it was 4 years ago. Last year, there were 8 head coaching changes. I think since the turn of the decade, we've averaged close to 7. So 7 has been the average. 8 was last year. 10 is this year. I think it just tells you that it's on the uptick, and I think it's a reflection of where we're at in society, that people want results right away. People are less patient. There is more money than ever in the sport. You can go sell 9-10% of your franchise, get back $800 million, and who cares if you have to fire your coaching staff and it costs you $30, $40, $50 million. Does it matter when you're collecting $800 million? Not to mention all the added TV revenue and gambling revenue. It doesn't matter. Go fire whoever you want. Go squander whatever you want. It doesn't matter. So when the fan base is unhappy enough and the results aren't there long enough, it doesn't matter who you fire in the end. And I just believe it's become part of the game. It's the game within the game. And organizations' job is to sell hope. And sometimes the way to sell hope is to fire your head coach. It's just the way it is.
I don't know if you saw where the owner of the Patriots, Robert Kraft, was talking about the 18-game schedule is just a absolute formality that it's coming.
More money.
Yeah, more money. Do you think it's coming soon? Or do you think it's coming down the line?
I think the CBA is up in 2030 or 2031.
Okay, so you think it's coming like that?
Now, look, I think the NFL is going to push to get it done sooner. Is that practical and realistic? I think those conversations need to be had before we can make a determination. I would guess that it would be sooner rather than later because, again, it's all about money. So you go to the players and you say, by the way, just think about it. 18 games seems
perfect.
Excessive.
I like it.
It seems excessive. Okay, but again, when you go to the players and you say, okay, here's the deal. Would you rather 18 games, 2 preseason games, and 2 bye weeks, and more money, or 17 regular season games, 1 bye week, 3 what would you rather do?
Oh, the owners would rather get the more money.
Yeah, 20 weeks of games, 2 bye weeks, 18 games.
And more money.
And I'll sit in a room and I'll figure it out for him.
And one international game per team.
That's fine. And a Super Bowl on President's Day weekend, so America has off on Monday.
That's probably the best part of it all. Schefty, one more A.J. Brown question before we let you go. We appreciate the time today.
There haven't been enough already.
Is there any chance this could get fixed? And is it as simple as hiring an offensive coordinator that he's excited about?
Look, how many times have we seen a player want to be traded and he's not? I mean, I could give you name after name after name. Lamar Jackson asked for a trade. Deebo Samuel asked for a trade. Brandon Ayuk asked for a trade. That didn't go great, but he got a new deal and he stayed. There are any number of players over time, as players have seized and grabbed back more power, that have asked for trades. Could they solve? Absolutely. 100%. Are we counting on? No, we're not counting on that, but there are a lot of ways this could go. We don't know who they're going to hire as the offensive coordinator. We don't know the conversations that are going to be had. We don't know if a team is going to be willing to give up enough compensation to make Philadelphia move off age. There are just too many factors and conversations that have to occur to say, yes, he's getting traded. No, there's no way he's staying. It's a fluid, moving target. And obviously that's going to be something that consumes the city of Philadelphia during the offseason. But there are no absolutes right now to that. There just aren't as much as you'd like there to be.
Well, it's a storyline that we will definitely follow all off season, Adam. And
thanks for always playing along, Adam.
And
I
we'll ask you
appreciate it.
last year it was the weekly tush push update. This year it'll be the weekly AJ Brown update.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy.
Adam Schefter. By the way, I saw somebody on YouTube saying so Joe Sanliquito was the only one that heard that trade. He didn't deny it.
No, he didn't deny it.
Adam
He said,
Schefter
no, Adam
said, yeah, I
Adam
heard
said
it.
flat out he heard that he wanted out around the same time.
Yeah,
exact same time.
So you missed something.
So I don't know how you didn't hear
No,
that.
Adam Schefter basically
reiterated it
confirmed the
twice.
report of Joe Sanliquito that AJ Brown had asked for a trade during the season.
Yeah, we just don't have the details as to why.
Right.
Which,
We don't have the details. And look, I had to
I
press.
know you had to.
I
Yeah.
had to press because I just my next question would be if Connor Thomas wants if someone says to me Connor wants off the morning show.
well, it's Andrew Salciunas.
My next question is, what did Andrew do?
Understood.
My next question is, what did Andrew do to piss him off?
No.
Understood.
That's what it would be.
No, I think it's a fair line of
Yeah,
question.
no, he confirmed the
And
report.
Andrew
Yes.
and Adam is always a good sport with that. Like I have people saying here, look, Adam's a good sport. He's always a good guy.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
By the way,
He's a good
AJ
guy.
Brown requesting a trade and it showing on the field pisses me off.
And it did. It did show on the field.
It pisses me off.
Mopey, grumpy Gus,
He was mopey.
big time.
Didn't go after some balls.
And he certainly didn't give the effort that he gave other years.
No, so that pisses me off, to be honest with
It
you guys.
sucks.
You know, oh, don't believe that story. Well, do you believe it now? Coming up next, we'll react to some of the things that Adam Schefter had to say. Also, I know you tried getting it out of him. He thinks this coordinator position is attractive. Let's dive into that. How attractive the offensive coordinator position is for the Philadelphia Eagles. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
I can promise you this. When you're live betting on the BetParks app, you're going to be having a lot of fun. Look, this weekend you may get snowed in, but you know what you're going to have? You're going to have a lot of fun live betting championship weekend on the BetParks app. It's so much fun. You can bet the championships, and you can bet individual player performances like touchdown scores, individual player performances like passing, rushing, yards, things like that, and more. New England, a 5-point road favorite at Denver. So there's one option. And then L.A., 3-point road underdogs at Seattle. Think about those two games. Put together maybe a parlay, whatever you're looking to do. The BetParks app has so many options for you. You can get up to $1,000 in casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours, too. You're going to absolutely love us. Plus, an additional $50 casino bonus on Triple Cash Eruption, the hot slot game. BetParks is the only app that I recommend to bet on sports and to play classic casino games like blackjack, craps, roulette, and more if you want it. But look, it's about the live betting on sports that I love. You got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan. BetParks.com has all the details for you. Should you have a gambling problem, I remind you to please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Still keeping faith in the Phillies. I'm Connor Thomas, and just a few days after the Phillies re-signed JT Realmuto, he and Dave Dombrowski met with media yesterday, and Dombrowski is still keeping faith in the roster he has put together. He was asked multiple times how he feels about the team as we sit just a couple of weeks away from spring training beginning, and here's what the president of baseball operations had to say about that.
I think overall in the wintertime, I like our club. We have a good club. You know, I've just said it's a situation. People forget we re-signed Schwartz. If we hadn't re-signed him, I don't know how I would be feeling about the wintertime.
Now, the fan base is going to have to see the Phillies prove on the field that they are that good club, and we'll see if they can do that, starting with pitchers and catchers reporting to Clearwater 3 weeks exactly from today. The Sixers fell to the Suns 116-110 last night. No Joel Embiid or Paul George on the back end of a back-to-back. Devin Booker, 27 points to lead all scorers for Phoenix. Sixers are off tonight. The Flyers are in Utah taking on the Mammoth tonight at 9 p.m. You can hear that game live right here on the Fanatic. In football, Mike McDaniel expected to become the new OC of the Chargers. The Eagles are still trying to figure out their replacement for Kevin Patullo as the market thins out a bit, so we'll keep you updated on all of that. This update is brought to you by Audible. If you're stuck in traffic, take care of you with help from the top voices in well-being on Audible. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com/wellbeing. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
the Fanatic. How attractive is the OC job here in Philadelphia? We'll get into that in a minute. This is Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Shout out to Adam Schefter for joining us. You can hear that again on 97.5thefanatic.com, the YouTube page. We'll play our best 5 minutes of it later on in the 9 o'clock hour. I see Neil on our YouTube chat saying, seriously, there are people still left in existence that don't know that AJ's main reason for being pissed all the time is because of Hurts. That's what we all assume. Don't make an ass out of you and me.
Yeah, and here's what I'm just gonna tell you, is that I would ask him, has he been in the presence of the players? Because I'm not around them much, but I've actually seen AJ and Jalen in presence where I bet you he hasn't.
Sure.
Look, and I've seen these two as recently as the past month in presence where the two of them are together. Like, so they are not it's making it out to be like these people that are making out to be this like feud that is like this blood feud. I've seen the two of them together multiple times.
Yeah, the reports have been.
It's like there's this blood feud. These two hate each other and everything. And I've seen them where the body language and the talk and the walking together and the talking that I'm just like, okay, that does not track.
I think it's more so a work thing.
That could be.
It's not a relationship. It's not a beef like he said, she said.
And that could be.
Maybe Jalen isn't his type of quarterback. Look, how many times have I said there are quarterbacks that I would have a preference over, right?
Absolutely.
Maybe AJ.
And that's different.
Maybe
right.
AJ Brown has a preference of who throws him the football, how it's thrown to him.
And the kind of offense he wants to be.
Right. So it could also be it could be Nick Sirianni, right? Like it could be I don't want to run hitch routes anymore.
I think it's
like that could be it.
I actually think that
and go balls down the sideline.
I actually think too is that the offensive coordinator and him were not at all in any way in sync. And I think he puts that on. I think AJ would also put that on Sirianni.
Yeah,
right.
And there's a lot of factors here. Like, I couldn't tell you if Jalen Hurts likes his parents or not from observing the guy. Like, he's the most deadpan individual I may have ever seen on this planet Earth. So I can't sit here and try and make these inferences based on how I think that relationship is. So let's build on what we know to be factual.
And I've heard the narrative of this whole Hurts AJ thing is this hatred narrative, and it's a very strange one. And then I've had other people tell me, yeah, and the other day they were sitting at a 4-person table at lunch. The two of them were two of the 4 people having lunch together.
Right.
That's also odd if 2 people hate each other, that 4 people are having lunch and 2 of them are there.
Yeah,
I saw him on a tandem bike outside the Wawa by
well,
Belmont.
then that's different.
They're besties.
Neil followed up again. Jeff McClain literally told you guys, is Jeff McClain not a respected reporter? No, we're not. What we're saying is it may not be this beef personally.
Correct.
It may be, hey, I wish I had Josh Allen throwing me the football, right? I wish there was a strong-armed quarterback. What we're just trying to be careful with is saying, yeah, they hate each other and they don't hang out during the holidays anymore and they don't text and they don't do that because we don't. I don't know that. Nobody knows.
You have no
that.
idea.
And what everybody does tell us is that they still get along. It's just the work-related stuff that might be the issue. All right, so is this offensive coordinator job attractive? I still say yes, but there is a caveat. I'm going to sound very fence-ish here.
Okay, you going to do a Bill Colarulo on me?
Well, not really.
There's the fence.
About a fence. But there's a reason why. I don't think this job is as attractive for like a Mike McDaniel, right? Or maybe even a Brian Daboll. We'll see. I think Brian Daboll would rather be a head coach. So, like, there's caveats to it. Like, if I'm Brian Daboll, I'd rather go back to Buffalo and be the head coach.
And you saw that the Bills have requested to interview him.
Right. So, which job would you rather have?
He's going to go be a head coach if he has that opportunity. But if it's between going and being the offensive coordinator in Tennessee or being here, that's his other 2 choices.
You'd rather be here than Tennessee. I think so.
I totally think so.
Here's my number one reason why. Forget quarterback, coach. I look at the organization. This is a winning, successful organization. So if you're a person that's trying to make a name for yourself, a Charlie Weiss Jr. in NFL circles, a Charlie Weiss Jr. or other top candidates.
I'm Bobby Slowick, baby.
Right. Maybe Bobby Slowick wants to get his name back on the map. This is an attractive organization where you have seen people have success, leave, and go get head coaching jobs. And the only guys that have not had success were the incompetent ones.
Right.
So I
The
do
guys
believe,
that are competent have gone on to be head coaches.
right. So I do believe it is still an attractive job, even with all the drama that we focus on and not knowing about A.J. Brown. It's the organization that is successful.
I think going to Cam Ward and getting to go there with a defensive-minded head coach that's going to give you the keys to the offense, Brian Dable may find Tennessee very attractive.
Yeah, but when was the last time a Tennessee assistant or a coordinator was hired to be a head coach and then was successful at being a head coach? Because the Eagles have 2 of those in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Tennessee doesn't put out coordinators turned into coaches. Philadelphia does. The real question is, are you a gambling man? Because Philadelphia is going to either you hit the jackpot or you end up flat broke. I would tell you, though, Kellen Moore to me feels a lot more in the school of Mike McDaniel than he does in the school of Nick Sirianni. And he came here and he left with a head coaching position that he's done well with in 1 year in New Orleans. So if you believe you can have success with this team, even if it doesn't fit your scheme, I think it's still an attractive job.
Thing is, I don't see Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore and Brian Dable couldn't be more different people to me.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Like Kellen Moore is very measured. Kellen Moore is very under control. Kellen Moore talks like a head coach. Kellen Moore is very.
Yeah, Brian Dable wants you to rub some dirt on your brain.
Brian Dable is like a maniac. Like
I hear that's good for it.
And look, I enjoy. I think Brian Dable will be a fine hire.
No, I think he would be too. But if I'm him, I'd rather take the head coaching job with Buffalo.
Oh, no, I'd rather be a head
it's
coach.
offered to me.
Absolutely.
Right.
You'd rather sign on the dotted line and be guaranteed $40 or $45 million.
Right.
That's the biggest deal that people forget.
I think the McDaniel thing that confuses me the most is the Detroit, they didn't see eye to eye.
Well, it was Campbell. It was him and Campbell.
Yeah, but aren't their offensive ideas very similar? Go for it, gadget plays, motion.
Reliance on the run first. Reliance on the run. His run. What McDaniel is like. Look, he has a lot of creative stuff in the run game.
Yeah,
but he wants the freedom to be able to do more things, and I think too.
Yeah, but that also means using your running back as a receiver, like Devin A-Chain, like, oh, by the way, Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, that's the one that surprised me. Like, what was this non-fit?
He also was not willing to, then from reading Detroit Free Press, he was not willing to commit to the Lions and say, if you were offered the job tomorrow, are you taking it, without doing his other interviews? He said not.
Okay.
He was going to do his due diligence and then get to the Lions. That also rubbed people in the Lions the wrong way.
Sure.
That they were being leveraged.
We also don't know where Dan Campbell is at. We don't know where Lions ownership is at. Like, that's how they've done stuff. Have they had enough success? The offense has been great, but they haven't won. So is there a world where they're having a conversation in Detroit saying, hey, maybe we need to try different things? And
let's do what the Eagles do.
Harbaugh hasn't won.
Well,
Dan Campbell's won more than Harbaugh.
No, I know, but that's head coach type situation. I'm just saying, like, if they're saying maybe it's time for a shift in our perspective, do you want to bring in someone who matches the head coach who hasn't gotten it done? Yeah. We're talking about that here in Philadelphia.
Gotcha. I think, but ultimately, if you were to ask me, is this job attractive? I say yes.
I think it's attractive, but I got to tell you, I think that being Cam Ward's offensive coordinator would be very attractive because I think he's very talented.
I think so too.
They're gonna have another top pick in the draft where I think they're gonna either in free agency, a trade, or otherwise go get him some toys.
They need a receiver, yeah.
And I think he could be. And if you make him
an offensive line,
and if you make him into something, then you really parlay yourself into something.
Yeah,
which is what he did with Josh Allen.
Which you could very well do here too. Like you could be a head coach next year.
But he's never going to get credit for making Jalen Hurts into something. Jalen Hurts has already been something.
I don't know the way
Jalen Hurts is already
the way the league talks about Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts has already been to multiple Super Bowl MVP. Brian Dable's never going to get credit for making Jalen Hurts into anything he's already been.
Jalen Hurts still gets disrespected.
I know he
around
does,
the league,
but he's not going to get credit for making Jalen Hurts in anything because he's already been it.
Well, Dable did make Daniel Jones worse, so can we see?
They did make the playoffs the first.
Saquon.
Let's go to Carl in North Philly. What's up, Carl?
Gentlemen, good morning, gentlemen.
What's going on?
What's up?
Can I ask a question? What position did Nick Sirianni play when he was in
wide receiver? Come on, man. He's wide receiver, Mount Union.
So, and he was pretty good, right?
He'll tell you that.
I don't know what a Division III wide receiver who was very good. I got to tell you.
Hey, look, he was better than the guys that didn't make it to any of the divisions, right?
No, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
No, for sure. But that's where the compassion comes from. But what I'm confused about is how do we have a wide receiver as a head coach, quarterback who's a coach's son, and one of the best receiving tight end core in the NFL, and we can't get it to work? Well, it only could be one thing. That goes back to Nick, in my opinion. It goes back to Nick. Nick, you had 5 OCs in the past 5 seasons. Only 2 of them could get your system down pat and make it work out of the 5 years. So it's not anybody else. It can't be anybody else. Is the reason why these guys don't want to stay under Nick because maybe he's a little too conservative, maybe a little too.
Well, it's not that they don't want to stay.
Two of them got head coaching jobs.
They got head coaching jobs. It's not that they didn't want to stay. They got promotions with other organizations. I hear what you're saying, Carl, because we've talked about it a lot. Ultimately, it's Nick Sirianni's system, and I believe the over-conservative approach that we saw last year, and thanks for the call, Carl, was because of him, but he also wasn't helping Petula.
And that's what I pressed Adam on.
Yeah.
Is that somebody comes here. Adam seemed like he wasn't buying into that. Someone coming here having to play under Nick Sirianni, I think that absolutely could scare someone off of this job. That Nick Sirianni's so scared of his own shadow.
Yeah.
We got a lot of Punxsutawney's in this town.
Every play could be intercepted, Johnny. Coming up next, a horrible feeling that I know I'm not the only one that has about the Phillies. And I wonder how many of you have it with other teams in town. I'll explain more coming up next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Fanatic.
It is 8:47 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll reset all of our topics coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. As you can imagine, a lot of today has been reacting to what Dave Dombrowski had to say during his press conference yesterday, which leads me to a question I want to discuss as a show, but I also want to open it up for the audience for the 9 o'clock hour, because this is something that can span all sports in Philadelphia and not just the Phillies, even though we may not all agree with it. The number, of course, to climb in is 610-632-0975. So the horrible feeling that I have right now about the Phillies, and I feel like you kind of feel the same way, John, is I have no faith in Dombrowski right now.
I've lost my faith in him.
The email you sent me was you don't see the vision. Like
I don't see his vision anymore. Yes.
I have no faith right now, none, and I'm not expecting any changes now until opening day. And yeah, sure, there's always the trade deadline, but I'm tired of always having to rely on a trade deadline. I'm tired of going into a season not knowing what my outfield's going to look like, not knowing what my lineup is going to look like. Rob Thompson yesterday was talking about a shakeup at the top of the order. What shakeup? It's the same team. What's the shakeup? Yeah, I had Mr. Locked On. So Turner 1,
maybe Bat Bohm 2nd, Harper 3rd, Schwarber 4th.
So it's just shifting the chairs around because it's the same four guys.
That's what the shakeup would be,
right? But is the shakeup something where I'm like, yeah?
No, nothing's going to make you, yeah. The roster is what it is. What do you want them to create a player like we're playing MLB The Show?
I would be okay with it. Andrew Salciunas had a hell of a career. So I have no faith right now in Dombrowski. My question is, are there other teams in Philly where you have that similar feeling? I know you don't, and I don't feel this way, John. But there are a lot of people wondering why the Flyers haven't taken that next step forward. They did not like the Dvorak extension, right? They didn't like the 5 years. There are people, if you just go on social media, and I see it on our YouTube chat too, that don't believe in the vision of Danny Briere and Jones.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who do not understand a rebuild. They don't understand it. So I'll just forgive them on that they don't understand it, and hopefully they can. If they show progress and they continue to show progress, which they have,
right,
and they do, and the organization gets better in the minor league system, more talent, I'll be fine with it. And it continues to do. I would say the only thing I'm down on Danny about, and I would question it, is I can't believe that they went into this season with counting on Sam Ersson to be one of their goaltenders. But look, the goaltending situation's horrendous. And Dan Vladar's awesome and was an awesome view. By the way, that was a Danny Briere pick.
Right.
and his scouts and everybody that came up with that.
My guess is with Ersson, Andy Hockey here talking for you.
Yeah.
He was good when the Carter Hart stuff happened, and so maybe they thought, well, as a backup.
I'm sure that they thought that.
As a backup, he's okay to have.
Look, I'm sure that they thought that.
In.
I'm sure that they did. Danny and I absolutely am bought in on Danny and Keith's vision and how they articulate it. And I would, again, with what their plan was and everything, I am looking for results in 26. Like 26, 27.
Right.
Yeah, misevaluating a single goaltender in the midst of a complete overhaul of the organization is not a screw-up.
Right, but there are a lot of people that are worried about Michkov and his growth. And look, you just go online. There's a lot of people that way. The Sixers are a big one, right? Because
have to be.
I understand what Daryl Morey is trying to do. I've just hated it. I've hated let's get all these old players. Now, he has shifted to a much more younger team. But you're still strapped with those contracts of Joel Embiid and Paul George. The Paul George one I hated from the beginning. You hated from the beginning.
We hated
John.
it.
Told it to his face that we didn't like it. Please don't do it before it even happened.
Yes.
And it happened. But I like what he's doing right now. But am I going to have full faith in him to completely fix some of the messes that he created? He fixed a lot of messes that were created before he got here.
Correct.
Al Horford. Right, he fixed a lot of messes.
That was a magic trick.
Josh Richardson, he fixed some messes, but then he also created some of his own.
I don't understand how he pulled off some of the stuff he pulled off. To me, he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I think it's been a mixed bag for Daryl Morey.
Right.
But I'm certainly not out on Daryl Morey. But this year, I got to tell you, it was the year where I said, show me something now.
It's amazing. He's been more quiet, and it's been better.
Yes. It has been.
That might actually, like, I'm not saying quiet, like online and
The quiet
and
as
on
far as
interviews, like,
doing, yes.
There's not the Sixers are in on every player in the world. They're almost, honestly, they can't because they have all the max contract slots filled up. But the Sixers are letting this grow. They're letting it fertilize.
They
to steal
are.
a term from Nick,
that's
to
a
steal
smart
a term
thing.
from Nick Sirianni.
We all fertilize.
Like, it almost feels like they're actually doing that for once, which is something that not even Daryl Morey did. Daryl Morey, Brett Brown is interim, Elton Brand, Colangelo. The only guy that tried fertilizing was Sam Hinkie. It was just bad product because
A lot of fertilizer there.
nothing was really growing. So is there leadership in this city that you have little to no faith in right now? For me, it's Dave Dombrowski, more than anybody else.
I don't think anybody could be close to Dave Dombrowski right now. Like for me, not even like. It's,
right away on our YouTube chat, Mopar. How are you not out on Daryl? What has he done for you lately? Right, like there are people that don't believe in Daryl Morey
because what I've seen Daryl do more. First of all, I've seen Daryl draft really well. I think Daryl's done some really nice stuff drafting. I've seen, even though I'm very, very baffled as to the coach and his relationship with his first-round draft pick from 2 years ago with the Sixers. I'm trying to figure that one out. But what I would say is the competent full body of work, if you're talking about trades, cleaning out your roster, fixing messes, things like that, I've seen much more out of Daryl Morey to believe in him than I have of Dave Dombrowski.
Yeah, baseball's different, though. It's kind of an unfair comparison because in basketball, you draft Tyrese Maxey, he plays. You draft Jared McCain, he plays.
Right, baseball, you have to wait 4 or 5 years.
Well, he's also locked them into long-term contracts with players. Like he locked his own roster up.
Hasn't Daryl Morey?
Yeah, Daryl Morey has
old,
to the max
right?
amount of years.
In basketball, it's completely different. Basketball, though I hate it, basketball, you sort of have to. You got like
or you lose.
You're going to lose spots. You're going to lose max contract spots.
Right.
And plus, it's much less players.
I think Daryl's a lot more similar to Dave Dombrowski than it feels right now. I think those two could be comparable.
All right, so here's the deal.
I think Dave Dombrowski's feet are much more in 2005 than they are in 2026. And I think that Daryl Morey's are much more in 2026.
But it took until 2026.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Because last year it was old players win, and they did not. So we'll open that up. If you were to sort of rank your level of faith for the different ownership groups, leadership of the teams in Philadelphia, who do you have the least amount of faith in right now? We will replay some of the clips from Dave Dombrowski that took place yesterday. Also, as content as Dombrowski feels and wants you to feel, then why do they almost have a totally different looking team? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Dombrowski makes his assessment. I'm Connor Thomas, and just a few days after the Phillies re-signed JT Realmuto, he and Dave Dombrowski met with the media yesterday, and Dave Dombrowski had a chance to assess what he's done this offseason. Now, it's a self-evaluation, so there may be some questions about where the source is coming from there, but hey, you got to listen to him. He thinks they got a good club.
I feel great about our club going to spring training. I think we have a very good chance. We won 96 games last year. We've got a different outfield in Garcia that we think could come back and have a big year for us. We made some changes in the bullpen.
Now, if we've learned anything, we know talk is cheap. They got to prove it on the field. They're going to get that chance coming up in 3 weeks exactly when pitchers and catchers report to Clearwater. We'll be watching the Phillies situation closely. Sixers fell to the Suns 116-110 last night. No Joel Embiid or Paul George on the back end of a back-to-back. Devin Booker led all scorers with 27. Sixers are off tonight. Flyers are in Utah taking on the Mammoth tonight, 9 p.m. puck drop. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. In football, Mike McDaniel is expected to become the new offensive coordinator of the Chargers. So another name off the board for the Eagles, who are still trying to figure out their replacement for Kevin Patullo. The market continuing to thin out a bit. This update is brought to you by Uber Eats. Philly, you hungry? Good thing Uber Eats has a deal waiting for you at Chickies and Pete's. From now until February 15th, spend $30 and get 6 wings free on the app. Order now only on Uber Eats. Terms apply. See app for details. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Fanatic and 97.5 thefanatic.com. Earlier today on Kincade and Salciunas.
Are you happy with this Phillies roster? Dave Dombrowski was asked if there was going to be any other moves made, and this was his response.
But I just say I think we're content where we are at this point.
If your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever, comes up to you and says, are you happy with our relationship? And your response is, I'm content. You would be sleeping on the couch that night. Or vice versa, if you asked your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, are you happy with our relationship? And they said, I'm content. You will feel pain in your heart, especially if you really love the person and you're hearing that they're content.
He was not going to take the public L. He was not going to have egg on his face. He was not going to allow it to be like, hey, I'm, look at me. I've made mistakes here. There were problems with it. He was not going to take the public L. And that's where I look at Howie Roseman and how many public L's he's willing to take and take responsibility for, and how this man just won't.
Yeah.
Just won't do it.
Now back to the show.
All right, so that's a little bit of what we talked about earlier today. We'll play some more clips from Dave Dombrowski. We also just opened up another topic for the final hour because I have no faith left in Dave Dombrowski. I said yesterday in my video, I'm the self-proclaimed number one non-believer in Dave Dombrowski. The key word, self-proclaimed, because there might be somebody that has less faith in Dave Dombrowski than I do. But is there an organization right now where your lack of faith rivals Dave Dombrowski, or you have less faith? Because let's face it, John, there are people that are okay with the Phillies, right? Like I get crap every day. I say something negative about the Phillies. What are you talking about? Could be worse. And
Well, no, it could be worse.
Could be worse.
Absolutely.
It could be a 10-year playoff drought. I lived through that. It was horrible. I hated my life during it. But the Phillies have passed the stage of just win and get in. They got to win something. They have all this money tied up. We were there 4 years ago, and we're trying to get back, and they've not come close to it except for 2023, where they had that horrific collapse against the Arizona Diamondbacks. So there are people, though, that still buy into this Phillies team. So me saying I have little faith or no faith in Dave Dombrowski may be a lot less than what somebody else may have in the city, and they may have their eyes on another team in town where they don't feel that great, and you got some more responses on the Flyers. I told you there's people out there.
Yeah, it was shocking because I got two people right back to back.
It must be my algorithm must be different than yours.
Saying, Danny Briere, it's been 4 years of this crap. Why are you being patient? Danny Briere is 2.5 years into his tenure of the Flyers rebuild. Where are people even getting? They can't even get the parameters of how long he's been in charge. His first full season was the 23 season, 24 season. Now the 25 season was the last. So we're going now. Come on, 25, 26. He's got 54 points. Hopefully he's going to be able to have a good year here. It's 75, 87. If he gets over 87 this year, he's had a really good year.
Right.
They've had a really good year there. But now I expect the results next year. Next year, I look at it as, okay, you've had your time to build a foundation. Spend money. The books will be more clean. You've got more youngsters in your funnel. Now I expect to start seeing results. I'm not expecting to see results in the spring of 26.
But there are people that are. And that's why we asked this question, which organization do you have the least amount of faith in? The Sixers are a team that I imagine there are a lot of people out there that just have no faith left in leadership when it comes to the Sixers. So you can text in, you can call in 610-632-0975. We'll check the text line on that here momentarily. But let's play a couple of clips for you because Dave Dombrowski, the word that he used yesterday that caused you and I to be very angry was content, that he's content with
over and over
a team that has fallen short of expectations. I get it. People keep on reminding me that they lost to the team that won the World Series last year. I will ask you, do you think that they would have had no issues against the Brewers or no issues against the Toronto Blue Jays, right? Like, who knows? I don't know. All I know is the lineup goes cold, and that's been the story. And for the people that say don't compare the Dodgers and the Mets series, why not? Because they lost in very similar ways. The bats went cold, and they could not continue to pile up runs, which means the bullpen had to be perfect, and they were not. You can't always expect a perfect bullpen. Look at the Dodgers bullpen. It was not perfect last year. They won the World Series.
In fact, they had a bad bullpen.
It wasn't perfect.
We couldn't take advantage of it, unfortunately.
No,
and they started throwing starters out of the bullpen, which didn't make a bit of a difference.
And the Phillies didn't do that. And so there are people that Rob Thompson was the manager that made those decisions to not go to a Ranger Suarez out of the bullpen. Instead, go with a Matt Strom in a situation where I did not like the situation when he first came out of the bullpen, and then Teoscar Hernandez goes yard and hits a home run. So Dave Dombrowski is telling you that they got a good club. They're close. 96 wins. Don't scoff at that. Well, if you feel so good about your ball club, I got to know why you were ready to make changes to your ball club.
Yeah, why do you want to dump your third baseman?
Exactly.
If you feel so good about this club, why are you trying to dump your third baseman?
And by the way, you wouldn't have re-signed JT Realmuto.
Right. So come on, what are you doing?
So let's play some clips for you, and then I will question what he had to say. This was Dave Dombrowski yesterday. It was the second question and answer of the press conference. Here he is talking about how he always wanted Realmuto back.
We always wanted to bring JT back. That was always a priority for us. They knew it. We also knew that he wanted to come back. And it really became a situation there was a disagreement as far as dollars were concerned, is what it came down to. And we just couldn't really bridge that gap for an extended time period. So with that, and really kind of leading into the winter meetings, we had to at least be open-minded because we didn't know if we would close the gap, even though we had the mutual desire to do that. So we ended up being in a position where we discussed other catching alternatives. They knew we were doing that. We were very open in that regard because they didn't want to catch them off guard based upon what we think of JT. And again, you can think very highly of somebody, and I could not say more positive things about any individual that I know and his family with JT and Lexi and their kids. It really just came down to we just had a disagreement in the dollar.
But what doesn't make sense with what he said, there's so many things that don't make sense with what he said. But what doesn't make sense with what he said is, we always wanted JT back.
I agree.
That's what I'm going to think.
I do believe that.
Yeah,
then
they offered him. They offered him a 3-year deal immediately.
Okay, then you do not go after Bichette. You just signed JT.
Well, no,
You knew the number. Yes, you knew the number it took to get JT. They gave it to him. They got it done. You don't go after Bichette.
Right. They wanted JT back, but it's not the Schwarber pay him whatever.
Right.
No, wait. They were willing and able and willing to pay JT what they paid him, $45 million over 3 years, which, by the way, no other team was offering a multi-year deal on the record, Boston or Tampa. That money they were willing to pay him. So why are you then, if you always wanted him, then you just sign him?
Well, they offered him a contract. He explained it. They could not come to terms on the money.
Because they knew what he wanted. But they came to terms on the money as soon as Bichette turned them down. They said, okay, JT, we'll give you what you want, and here's the money.
Right, because they moved the dollar amount when they realized they didn't have another option.
They blinked.
Having another option doesn't mean you don't want something.
I think they wanted them from the beginning, and then I think the Bichette thing caught storm, and then he straight up said, he
said, I called within the hour.
Yeah,
they blinked.
They did, because the second Bichette didn't sign here. So then JT also spoke yesterday, believe it or not. I know today's been the Dombrowski day, but JT Realmuto spoke. And right out the gate, he said he wasn't totally sure that he was coming back.
Yeah, there was. There towards the end, there was a short time where obviously there's no secret that, the Phillies had other opportunities. And then myself as well, I was looking at other teams. There at the end, it got a little stressful to where, we thought there was an opportunity or a chance that we weren't going to be back, which, obviously wasn't ideal for us. We made it pretty clear that we wanted to be with the Phillies from the start. So luckily that didn't last too long, and we were able to come together and get a deal done.
So to your point, John, when Dombrowski's saying we always wanted him back, that was JT's first answer. JT spoke first. Dombrowski's first answer was the one that we just played you, saying we always wanted him back. Credit to the reporter. I don't know who it was. I didn't hear I don't remember who asked the question, but somebody said, well, Dave, JT said earlier that it wasn't a lock that he was coming back, so Dombrowski had to answer that.
Well, it did get very close. I won't get into the blow-by-blow, but it's a situation where we got to the point. And his agent, again, who I talked to, Matt Mercado, had always told him, and I think it's the right thing to do, if we got to the point where we thought we would go in a different direction, I wouldn't want them to read about it in the paper. So I did let them know we were getting very close to making a deal, And at that point, we weren't going to be able to make both of them at that particular time.
Okay.
So yes, I mean, we did get to that point, and I understand, and it's not an ideal scenario. It's a difficult situation, but I think sometimes you have to do things in a professional fashion, even though it's not easy.
I respect that about Dave.
I do too,
that's the way he does his business. But they literally blinked, and he told us they blinked. They panicked the minute they didn't get Bichette. No, go to the Boston press. The people who cover the Red Sox, go to the people who cover Tampa Bay. Those teams were not offering $45 million for JT Real. Boston did not have $45 million for JT Realmuto. They did not. So Boston was not a threat to give him that contract. Tampa Bay was reportedly offering him a one-year deal. So nobody was there saying, you better move, Dave. You better move. You just lost out on Bichette. You better give him exactly what he wants. JT played poker with them and won.
Yeah, he did.
He won easy. And they panicked. What's the panic about?
Well, the panic is about what happened with Bo Bichette. They thought they had a deal with Bichette. They thought that what they were offering him was what he was willing to agree to. And in the 11th hour, the New York Mets stole him. And they thought, well, now we don't have Bichette. What happens if someone in the 11th hour comes with a deal that we're not expecting on JT, and we're starting Rafael Marchand and Garrett Stubbs at catcher without Bo Bichette at second? We're in big-time trouble.
Yeah, and so that's why they immediately signed JT. Now, but what I'm basically getting at here.
It's a bad way to do what I'm telling you, boys. It's a bad way to do business. You don't get a new roof the day your house springs a leak when there's water in your living room. You don't get a new car the day your car is broken down on the side of the Schuylkill. That's the way you make your worst buying decisions. The Phillies make horrible buying decisions, and that was one of them. That was a terrible decision. They got completely played, and he admitted it in a press conference. Now, they got played.
The reason why I wanted to play those clips, for the sake of this conversation, we'll check our text line here in a second. Dave Dombrowski says he's content. All right, he likes the club, really good club. We got a great club, and there are a lot of people that agree with Dave Dombrowski, and that's your opinion. I don't feel that way. That's your opinion. If Dave Dombrowski feels so good about this club, why did it almost look completely different? Because if they did sign Bo Bichette, which, again,
they thought they had a deal, he said.
And they wanted it, right?
And he wanted the deal.
Let's face it, that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to sign Bo Bichette. It didn't happen. Signing Bo Bichette would have meant Alec Boehm is gone. It would have meant that JT Realmuto is gone. The fact that you did not get Bo Bichette, the two players you were willing to part ways with, one trade, one not resign, are both back here. And so,
and you paid
how can you tell me that you feel so great with the club when you yourself realized that there is a way to improve this baseball team, but because it didn't happen, you went back to what you knew?
It's craziness because the logic doesn't make sense.
I
tell them you love. I love you, honey. I love you, my wife. You're awesome and everything. Now, the girl on the side that I've been chasing, she wasn't willing to take me. So I'm going to stay with you, and I love you.
Well, they're not.
That's what they're doing.
They're not married to anybody. Let's remember, this is business. This ain't personal. So there is logic to it. I'm very content with where I am, right? I'm just naturally a content person. But if someone dangled $100 in my face, I'm going to try and grab it. And that doesn't mean I'm not happy with the amount of money I currently have. They had an opportunity they saw to get better. But I think there's also a world where logically Dave Dombrowski can look at this roster and say, well, I'm content with how we have it now. Now, we all disagree with the that's good enough portion of that. But him believing he's content while also still looking to improve the roster, I think is you can understand why he thinks that way, right?
He's happy with the club because if they lost, to your point, both players, it would have been bad because then you're starting. By the way, he let you know that he didn't want Rafael Marchand to be your starting catcher. But still, what I'm trying to get at is he wanted to improve the baseball team and couldn't.
What he told you is my entire master plan of remaking this team in the offseason, I was able to do none of it.
I don't think that's what he's saying at all.
I told you, yes. His plans didn't work out.
Well, he did want to improve the bullpen, which he did.
I love what he did in the bullpen, and I give him credit for it. I think he did. But his plan, this team didn't lose. This team lose because the bats suck. This offense has failed them over and over and over again. Their offense approach stinks and everything, and again, you're rolling it back.
Right, but Bo Bichette wasn't part of their master plan. Bo Bichette was a middle of nowhere thing that just popped up that they explored, and they thought they had it and it didn't work out.
So the master plan.
It would have changed everything.
Let's say there was no Bo Bichette. Let's say that never happened.
Right.
Are you still happy with the state of this Phillies team?
No, I am not.
Because
I don't think
he would have been content even if Bichette never happened. Because the results of not landing Bichette is the results of what they were trying to do in the first place.
Yeah.
Re-sign JT Realmuto. I could have sworn Alec Bohm was going to be on his way out at some point, just for a shakeup.
When your executive tells everybody 2 years in a row how he's not pleased with the guy, nobody's calling you and going, "Yeah, I'll give you something of value for him."
I can't wait for Nick Castellanos to start opening day.
It's so dumb.
It's going to be awesome. Now batting for the Phillies, Nick Castellanos.
I mean, Scott Lauber told us 0.0%.
I know he's not coming back, but at this point, I wouldn't be surprised by anything.
Wouldn't be shocked.
All right, what do we got on the text line? Phillies conversation, obviously reaction to what Dave Dombrowski said yesterday. He is happy with the roster. Are you? Because there are a lot of people that get upset when I'm overly negative about the Phillies. So if you're happy with the roster, let us know. And then I have no faith in Dave Dombrowski. But I know that I have that, and there are other people that do. What team do you have the least amount of faith with their leadership right now? What do we got on the text line?
Kevin checks in here and says, not that I'm trying to defend the guy, but you can believe you have a good team and still try to upgrade it. Trying to upgrade isn't saying it's bad. It's saying we can still be better.
So they don't suck. I said this a lot on social media yesterday. The Phillies are a good baseball team. But good is not going to get you over the hump. We've seen that now 3 straight years.
The move, this book has been written, and we know the ending.
And don't give me the Dodgers, because the Blue Jays were 1 win away from winning that series. It's not like the Dodgers then won 4 games against the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays were right there with them. You can be there with the Dodgers.
The Phillies were right there with the Dodgers.
The Phillies have lost the same way 3 straight years. That's the point that I try to get at. Yes, they're there. They have been there 3 straight years.
Trey can't hit. Trey's not going to hit when you need him to hit. Trey's going to make stupid plays in the field when you need him to make smart plays. And he's just one. That's
There's
just
a way
one
to
example.
Pitch around Bryce Harper. We've seen it.
Because Bryce is going to try to do too much, so you don't have to throw him strikes in the postseason. They know it. They know Kyle Schwarber. They don't have to throw him strikes in the postseason. He's going to swing like he couldn't hit it with a bow paddle. The book's there.
Or you just walk him because Brandon Marsh bats 5th on this team.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that last year, Alec Bohm batted 4th and Brandon Marsh batted 5th.
So bad.
You could have intentionally walked Kyle Schwarber like Barry Bonds. Nobody on base. I don't care. Walk the guy. 4 in the order was Bohm. 5 in the order was Brandon Marsh. Did Marsh get a hit in the playoffs?
I don't know. The fact that we don't know probably says it wasn't enough hits.
What else we got on the text line?
All right, we also have a check-in here from Dave and Mount Laurel, who says, how can you be content with this roster when teams that were already better than the Phillies improved in the offseason and we did not?
Yeah, I mean, look, we talked about earlier, the Mets lost some players too, so it's not
I don't
like
think
they
the
just
Mets
improved.
And look, and Luis Robert Jr., yeah, good luck.
The breakout season's
Yeah,
coming.
Good luck with that.
Now, Toronto has gotten better, I think, with the amount of money that they've spent. The Dodgers clearly have gotten better.
I'm not worried. Like, I don't know about you. Do you look at it like I realize Toronto's better, but are they better without Bichette, too? I mean, to me, I don't worry about American League teams. I just worry about the teams.
Right.
First, I worry about who's in our neighborhood. And then I worry about the National League. And honestly, I'm not worried about anybody in the National League but the Dodgers.
Well, right. The Cubs have gotten worse. The Brewers are not going to be as good as they were last year. The Mets, I think, are even at best. The Braves could be better if they're healthy.
I think the Braves are better
If the Braves are healthy, they've
absolutely already lost their
better.
shortstop for half the season.
I think the division's going to be a through September piece.
I agree. The idea that there are teams that were already better than the Phillies and have gotten better, I think there's 1 or 2 teams.
By the way, Brandon Marsh, with all due respect, I'm sorry, went 1 for 13.
Oh, yeah, he got a hit.
With a single. Your 5-hole hitter went 1 for 13 with a single.
And by the way, though, and again, just to be fair, Brandon did have a really good 2.5 months.
He did.
Where he was outstanding. But then when the lights are the brightest, it's not necessarily.
Oh, you mean if I go back the last 2 series?
Yeah.
Including the Mets series, Brandon Marsh is 2 for 26. Same batting average, .77, .077.
Consistency.
Yeah.
Important.
But I remember then another series like when in a one-off where Brandon Marsh was like their best bat.
Arizona, he was their best bat. Him and Kyle Schwarber.
It's that, but they can't put it together and
No.
and it's been tough.
All right, what else we got on the text line? Give us one more.
All right. We also have a check-in here from Ray from Center Valley, who says, just because I didn't expect change with the Phillies doesn't mean I can't be upset when it doesn't happen. The rich continue to get richer, while Dave Dombrowski tells us the team that hasn't been good enough for 4 years is good enough if everything works out perfectly.
So earlier when you said, you're not surprised, I'm not surprised that they didn't land some big free agent up until the Bichette stuff because that thing caught fire. I thought Dombrowski was going to make trades this offseason. I did. I fully expected him to move some pieces around. The Mets trading for Marcus Semien was not some game-changing trade, but it was a shakeup because they had been falling short of expectations. So they traded Jeff McNeil. I know there was some weird beef with him and Lindor and that kind of stuff, but they made a change, right? Because they said we need to kind of freshen this up.
Right.
The Phillies needed to freshen up. They don't stink. I'll say it again. They don't stink. As angry as I am, they are not a bad baseball team. They are a good club, as Dave Dombrowski says. But they needed a shakeup because the guys that have come up small have continuously come up small.
I like McNeil. I would have taken McNeil.
No, I wouldn't have.
I would have taken. I'd take him.
No Mets.
He's a guy.
You don't think he'd be better than what you have?
Screw the Mets.
Yes,
Go
he would
somewhere
be.
else.
He would be.
I don't think so.
He'd be better.
Stott's glove is much better.
Yeah, he'd be a better player. I'd have a bat.
Yeah.
I'd have a bat, and I'd have a bat who can come through in the clutch too.
Too much New York stink on him. Get him out of here.
Yeah, I'll take him.
He'd also fit right in with his age, by the way.
Yeah,
So I'm not.
You wouldn't have to go long. You don't have to go long with him.
I'm not going to over. He hasn't had.
And you don't have to overpay for him. You don't have to do that. You didn't have to overpay. You don't have to do any of those
You
things.
value McNeil more than I do.
Well, he's better. He's better. I want to get
he's a
better.
All right, coming up next,
A better guy.
we have our 5 best minutes of Adam Schefter. He confirmed the report by Joe Santoliquito. For all of you, I don't believe it because it's Joe Santoliquito, people.
Well, Joe was right.
Adam Schefter confirmed that. You'll hear that next. It is Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies like their club. I'm Connor Thomas, and that's what Dave Dombrowski was talking about when he and JT Realmuto met with the media yesterday following the Phillies re-signing of JT on Friday. The pressing questions to Dave Dombrowski were about the status of the roster as we are just 3 weeks away from spring training getting going. Here's what Dombrowski had to say.
I think overall of the wintertime, I like our club. We have a good club. I've just said it's a situation. People forget we re-signed Schwartz. If we hadn't re-signed him, I don't know how I would be feeling about the wintertime.
Now, they're going to have to prove that on the field of play, and they will get the chances 3 weeks from today. Exactly, pitchers and catchers will report to Clearwater. Baseball season right around the corner. There are certainly some doubts with the Phillies, but we'll be watching. The Sixers fell to the Suns 116-110 last night. No Joel Embiid or Paul George on the back end of a back-to-back. Devin Booker led all scorers with 27. Sixers are off tonight. Flyers, they're on tonight. They're in Utah, taking on the Mammoth. 9 p.m. puck drop. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatic. And football, Mike McDaniel is expected to become the new OC of the Chargers. Job market thinning out a little bit as the Eagles still continue to try and find their replacement for Kevin Patullo at the offensive coordinator position. This update is brought to you by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The final hour of Kincade Salciunas is presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
All right, we got our 5 best minutes of Adam Schefter coming up later this segment. Around 9:47. I'm going to give you an early.
That's very, very
early tease. There's a local guy, or maybe I should say kid, that could make history in the NFL. That comes away at 9:47.
Wow, that's tasty.
Local product.
You say kid, too.
Ray Dunn.
Yeah, well,
no, he smokes.
Ray Dunn's chances of the NFL are still coming. He's still got that chance. All right, before we get to the 5 best minutes of Adam Schefter, you asked Schefty about it during the interview. The Robert Kraft basically went on a radio station and said, "Yeah, 18 games is coming.
One international game every year."
I love football, and I'm always like pro more football. I get it, but I also in the back of my mind go, how are these guys going to do it? I get the second bye will help, but man, I watched the football team this year not be able to overcome injuries all season long in the offensive line, nagging injuries, not like missing games injuries other than Lane Johnson. I don't know. Is it the smartest decision? It might be what you want because you want more football, and I get it.
No, I definitely want it.
But is it the smartest decision?
Why is it? Because that there's no data that says the 17th game has been causing more injuries. They thought, remember that was always the talking point?
Yeah.
17 games, these players are going to be so. It's not true. They can't point to that.
But logic would tell you more football, more chance for injury.
That's just, yeah.
Okay, but
no.
I'm not going to go. No, I'm not going to go with any kind of. I'm just going to go with the facts. They cannot point to the 17th game has led to a ton more injuries. They cannot. There has been no number that they can point to.
So why not play 20 weeks then?
No, I wouldn't do that. Now that's different.
Why not?
No, because they have a time frame that they want to play the season in. And 18 is what it is. It's a great number because they're trying to take away from they play 20 anyway with the preseason.
Well, what I'm saying is, how do we know that they don't get rid of the preseason altogether? It's just joint practices, right, which they are already doing. And the coaches will tell you they actually prefer the joint practice over a preseason game. So how do we know that one day it's 0 preseason games and it's 20 regular season
You don't know that won't be.
And 162. Let's
and
run
if the players and if the Players Association signs off on it, that's what it'll be.
Right.
I think with the 2 bye weeks as well, because the plan would be to have 2 bye weeks.
You have a first half bye week. You have a second half bye week. So there's an 18 game schedule. So over 10 weeks, you play 9 games.
Yeah, I think that would end up almost benefiting players compared to what they're at right now with 17 games.
With a second week.
And 1 bye week.
Everybody gets off the day after the Super Bowl. Except us.
That might be the number one reason to do it.
Yeah,
It's
honestly,
perfect.
make it a national holiday.
I pushed for this forever. Like that this was I have literally talked about this plan. I could go back on my Twitter feed. I guarantee more than decade and a half.
You say that, but there's a part of this plan that you aren't going to like. If I know John Kincade.
The international game for every team every year.
I know if it has to be, I'll take it.
But do you like it?
No, because I don't. The force feeding of games into spots where who gives a damn. Like I don't care. I don't care about every year having to see my team go.
Yeah,
short-sighted. The Eagles are undefeated in Super Bowls when they start the season in Brazil.
You're right.
There you go.
That's a great point.
That's a number, and I can't argue with the fact.
I'm guessing what they would do is every team that plays internationally, that's their bye week the next week.
That would make the most, or leading.
No, that's
in.
what. No, they already do that now.
Well, not really, because there's teams that open up the season. The Eagles open up the season in Brazil.
Yeah, but there's no build up, and then they had a long weekend after.
The Vikings, I think, played back-to-back overseas.
Yeah, but they stayed.
Too, right?
They stayed.
Right,
yeah, they stayed.
Right.
So there's always built in. So that's already been built in. So that'll be built in again.
Okay.
I hate it. I just don't like it. But
I like the international games.
If you like the international games, that's great. And the thing is, I think they are fairly popular as far as like people like to go on the
people
trip.
want to try. Oh,
Philly
yeah.
Sports
Philly
Trips
Sports
does a great job.
Dude, Vince cleans up, man.
But I have no idea why
great.
we're going to. Like, I have no idea why we go to Brazil.
Grow the game.
Brazil doesn't care.
They will if they keep watching.
So if we force feed them something that they're not asking for, we force feed them something that they really have not been clamoring for.
How many people in Brazil that are saying, I don't want the NFL?
No, Brazil is not an NFL. We're going to make it one. Brazil is not like where you're saying where you go to Germany, you go to other places.
Why Roger Goodell is a general who's he's playing Risk.
Yes.
He's trying to take over nations when it comes to sports.
By the way, I can't win that game.
Scott on our YouTube chat says, we're going to live to see a game played in Antarctica, aren't we? Maybe.
If they build a dome.
They build a dome.
Nah, play outside.
Yeah, that's the way football should be.
Send a West Coast team there.
By the way, there was a slow-mo video of Drake May throwing a pass through the snow. And somebody had a great tweet saying, yeah, this is going to suck in a few years when everybody's in a dome. Because it feels like it might head that way at one point.
So
It's going to take a while because you have to build stadiums. But doesn't it kind of feel like we're...
And it sucks. It sucks.
Because it's all about the pockets of the owners. Like Jeffrey Lurie, again, the report from the very beginning was he wants to be able to have things at the link during the winter to make money.
And that's all. It's stupid.
The times they are changing.
It just is dumb.
Yeah,
it's like I don't want to see. I don't want to see every game in 72 degrees in a dome. I don't want to go to an Eagles game indoors.
No, me neither.
There's nothing to it. A beautiful fall afternoon, you're going indoors. Oh well, we'll open up the roof for a little bit. I lived this. I lived this. I saw this all the time. It sucked.
It doesn't work that way. All right. Earlier today, Adam Schefter joined us. Here's the 5 best minutes of it, where he confirms the reporting of Joe Santoliquito on A.J. Brown. Our man Adam Schefter joins us. Shefty, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. What's going on?
I know yesterday they interviewed Brian Dable. What have you heard on the offensive coordinator front for the Eagles?
Well, I think they're casting a wide net. So there's a lot of people that they're looking at, and they're going to take their time and be a little thorough with that and make sure that they come up with the right guy, right fit. Obviously a critically important hire for that franchise moving forward. And I don't know if they're closer right now. They're going through their process. They're talking to people. And I think sometimes you need a little clarity. You need some pieces to fall into place before certain hires can be made. Now, Mike McDaniel obviously did not feel he's going to get a head coaching job, but there are still 6 head coach openings and people in play. And there are going to be people that don't get jobs, that want jobs, and that could influence and impact who the OC is. So from that standpoint, I think they're going through, they're talking to all their people, and you need some of these dominoes to fall before you can probably make a hire, I'm going to guess.
Do you believe for an offensive coordinator candidate who interviews with the Eagles that a potential bigger hurdle for them to get over would be Nick Sirianni or Jalen Hurts?
Why do you say hurdle?
Having to work the obstacle, the potential obstacle that they may see in their mind of having to navigate working with Nick Sirianni or having to work with Jalen Hurts. Like an offensive coordinator saying, I would have better luck fixing Jalen Hurts or working with Jalen Hurts, or that I'm going to have the
John,
flexibility to work.
That's the way you view it. I don't view it that way.
Okay, tell us how you feel then.
I view it as, I know the Eagles had a down season, relatively speaking, but like I want to go and work with all that offensive talent. I'd want to go work with Jalen. That's me, but maybe I'm missing something. Like, you're looking at it from a glass half empty perspective, and I prefer to look at it the other way. Like, hey, Nick Sirianni's won a Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts has won a Super Bowl. There's a lot of talent there. Let me go try that. Yep.
Does it feel like we're heading to that direction where A.J. Brown gets traded this offseason?
I still feel like my thoughts are the same. He's a trade candidate this offseason. Doesn't mean he gets traded, but yes, I like to think that nobody's going to call them to ask about him, or that A.J. Brown might not say to them that I'd like to be traded, or whatever combination of conversation you like. I just think that that's going to happen, and I think that there's going to be more about that topic this offseason.
I'm curious, there was a report at the end of last week that A.J. Brown had actually requested a trade numerous times this season, going back to week 3. Just wondering if you heard anything similar to that report.
Again, there's just been that chatter. I mean, it's I don't think it's a big deal. Like, it came up. Did I hear any chat? Yeah, I heard he wanted out. You've heard that throughout the year. What more needs to be said about it? Like, I think it came up. It was a constant source of conversation.
If you heard he wanted out, do you know the source of why he wanted out? Like the source of his conflict?
Well, the source would be his general level of happiness, however that is formed. It feels like you're looking for something here.
Of course I am.
I don't know.
Of course I am. You know that.
Yeah, I know. I know you are. Okay, but usually when somebody wants to be traded, they're not overly happy in the situation. I think it's no secret that A.J. Brown wasn't overly happy at various points last year. Everybody knows that. So why did he want to be traded? You want me to say it's because of a certain relationship with a certain... I have no idea if that's the case. I think everything gets factored in.
Okay, can I ask you this? Am I to believe no one's ever told you what he's upset about? They've told you that he's upset, and they've never told you what he's upset about, or you've asked that question?
I really did not do a deep dive on A.J. Brown that I remember. I don't remember. Like, maybe it came up, but I got to be honest. You care way more about A.J. Brown than I do.
Okay. I know that. Sure.
I got 32 teams, and I got 53 guys on every team. So A.J. Brown's name has come up on many occasions. I think we all know he was an epi. I never did some deep psychological profile to find out why he was so miserable or why he seemed to be so unhappy.
All right, so and we're not trying to get you to say that it was Jalen Hurts or Kevin Patullo. We're just trying to confirm that.
No, I was.
Well,
I'm being honest with you. I'm trying to get I'm thinking that that somebody told Adam at some point why he was pissed off, why he's unhappy, and I'm figuring that Adam heard it. So that's why I was trying to get him to
figure out, is this something that they can reconcile? Like go ahead.
And I'm being honest when I tell you I never spent that much time doing a deep dive into his unhappiness level. And I mean that sincerely.
Okay.
And if it did come up, I don't remember.
All right.
Is there any chance this could get fixed? And is it as simple as hiring an offensive coordinator that he's excited about?
Look, how many times have we seen a player want to be traded and he's not? I mean, I could give you name after name after name. Lamar Jackson asked for a trade. Debo Sayer as the offensive coordinator. We don't know the conversations that are going to be had. We don't know if a team is going to be willing to give up enough compensation to make Philadelphia move off age. There are just too many factors and conversations that have to occur to say, yes, he's getting traded. No, there's no way he's staying. It's a fluid, moving target. And obviously, that's going to be something that consumes the city of Philadelphia during the offseason. But there are no absolutes right now to that. There just aren't, as much as you'd like there to be.
Well, it's a storyline that we will definitely follow all offseason, Adam. And
thanks for always playing along, Adam.
And
I
we'll
appreciate
ask you
it.
Last year, it was the weekly tush-push update. This year, it'll be the weekly A.J. Brown update.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, there's Adam Schefter. Coming up next, could a local guy make history in the NFL? Something popped up on the timeline about 20 minutes ago, but I wanted to save it. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts means more ways to level up your playoff bets. Pick the matchups you believe in. You can take a shot on an upset or build a parlay that fits the moment. I'm sure there will be some people that would love to see the storyline of Jarrett Stidham winning the AFC Championship game and going to the Super Bowl. I won't take a flyer on that upset. I like New England to cover the 5.5. The NFC Championship game is going to be interesting to talk about as this week goes on because the Seahawks just look dominant. But the Rams have pedigree, and we talked about pedigree this year. Didn't really mean much. Then apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. Just visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL game day. You got to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania, opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Kincade.
9:47 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. In a whirlwind of a day. Again, if you missed it earlier, those iOS updates can get you. My alarm is set for 4 o'clock in the morning. The iOS update took place overnight for me. And at 5 o'clock this morning, my wife shook me saying, "What the hell are you still doing here?"
And that is bad.
We haven't missed a beat. Some are saying the show was even better today than normal.
And just behind the scenes, and I don't even think I told Connor. Then I start looking at my phone at the iOS update, and I had 30 missed calls from Joe Santaliquido, who I went to high school with, and I've known Joe since we were in 9th grade. And his calls all went to spam folder.
We got Grandpa 1 and Grandpa 2 in there.
No, but my phone, I'm like, what's going on? So I literally, we called Joe a couple breaks ago. I was like, Joe, I am so sorry. He knows that I would never not take his call. And I have all these calls.
I would offer to be your guys' Geek Squad guy, but I just don't really want to do that. So
you're going
to have to figure it out.
The only thing I can think of is Joe's one of those. Ricky Boat finally got an iPhone.
Yeah, it took him long enough.
Joe is not. His only thing I'm thinking is my phone doing something where it's putting.
Maybe.
But
that could be it.
So I apologize profusely. We talked to Joe, and I apologize.
So I called my wife literally shook me at 4:59. I called John at 4:59. Like, I didn't even wait 2 minutes to call you. You heard the just woke up groggy voice.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, hey, man.
And it was.
I sound like I smoked 20 packs.
You sounded like Ray Dunn.
I was like, yo, dude.
Fresh off his
I'll be there.
Marlboro Reds.
I'll be there. All right. A local guy could make history.
Who's this?
In the NFL.
I want to hear about this.
So I saw way in the very beginning of the 9 o'clock hour from Rap Sheet and Tom Pelissaro that the Cleveland Browns are interviewing the offensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, of course, it's the Liam Cohen show, as we know.
What's his name? Duke?
Grant Yudinsky. Of Central Bucks West, Doylestown, PA, man. And he is 30.
Yeah, he's 30 years old.
If he gets hired, he would beat Sean McVay. Sean McVay was 30 years and 353 days old when he was hired by the Rams back in 2017.
Shawnee.
Yudinsky turned 30 9 days ago.
Happy birthday.
So
does it make you feel odd?
What, that somebody younger than me is?
Like, no, he's not somebody you know, but is it somebody does that make you feel odd? Like yesterday, hearing Andrew Jones go into the Hall of Fame, I remember Andrew the first day he showed up, as a Brave.
No, the two that made me feel weird, Trout, because I literally pitched against them, and this kid's getting drafted and became modern-day Mickey Mantle before the injuries started.
Did you strike him out?
No, I got him to pop out, and then he hit a 600-foot home run off me the very next at-bat.
Okay,
so
that's
he
good.
only batted 500 against me.
Pretty solid.
No, guess how? I take that as a win.
Yeah, because my changeup was 45 miles per hour, and he was just out in front. And then Nerlens Noel, because I was in my sophomore year apartment watching the draft with my buddy Joey. You played basketball with him. You know him. You know he's a big hoops head. And when they flashed the age at the bottom of when he got drafted, I was like, oh, my God, I'm older than him. And that was wow, that
was the moment.
That was the moment where I realized, man, my professional career is not going to happen.
Because many of them will come to you. You'll see it. Now, for me, you're going to start to hit this in a few years. It's going to be a few years for both of you, where you start to see the athletes hit. Like I've seen it with the Bichettes, the Bigios, and all that.
Right, that entire family.
That I grew up watching their dads and then their kids. And then I watched their kids play.
Yeah. We got that with Jackson Holliday because Matt Holliday obviously played for the Cardinals.
Sure.
2011. And Asante Samuel Jr. Because Asante was here with the
I've
Eagles.
said it on air before. Trotter Jr., who now plays for the Eagles, was like a 6-year-old on my school bus when I was going to middle school. I saw that kid as like a toddler, basically, and I was playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
How did he shake you down for your lunch money, though? That's what I don't understand. He was so
just
little.
probably stood up and said, give me your lunch money. Because
it's amazing.
It's that scary.
He was 6. Now, once he got to 10, he probably would have beat my ass.
So tomorrow, I have a conversation I want to have tomorrow. Not that it's ever going to happen, the bridging of the gap between, quote-unquote media and fans. So I see one of our responses on our YouTube chat from the guy 32. That's all I see is 32. So I don't know what your name is. My apologies. 32 has been adamant that the Joe Santoliquito story is not true. It's fabricated. It's made up. Even though Schefter confirmed
again.
it.
Yeah, it's been confirmed by yet another media.
But they just said, "Oh, now it makes sense. Joe was John Kincaid's classmate, so that's why."
Yeah, we've known each other since ninth grade.
That's why you believe Santoliquito's reporting.
No, I believe Santoliquito's reporting because he's consistently been right. And remember when he was wrong about Carson Wentz until he was right.
So
yeah.
I want to try to figure what it is that you want sometimes. Because yesterday
I always tell you this, it's my biggest hurdle. There's a lot of people who just want pom-pom shaking, and the thing is, there's so many options for that. Because there's so many people that are willing to bootlick for likes and clicks, and that's what they want.
I mean, you already know. I'm predicting something. At some point,
a snowstorm?
Mm-hmm. At some point, we will get a text or call after the A.J. Brown trade, and it's going to be you guys ran him out of town.
No, A.J. ran himself out.
But I know it's coming. And look, people,
for sure.
People express their emotions any way they want. I just want to know why. Why is it that your immediate reaction is it's your fault that A.J. Brown was requesting a trade in week 3 that you didn't believe, and now Adam Schefter has since confirmed?
I've said it a million times. I'll say it again. Nobody has an Andrew Salciunas jersey. Nobody has a Jeff McClain jersey, a John Kincade jersey. They root for the Eagles. And anytime you do something that is, in some people's eyes, against the team,
sure,
they're going to always side with the players whose jersey they wear, who they root for.
Fair.
I will say there was a guy in the Baltimore media. He was his name was Nasty Nestor. He did radio like us.
I thought that was
his name was
Nestor Cortez.
He sounds like he could know a Bella
His
Danger.
name was Nasty Nestor. He did sports radio in Baltimore. He came to Radio Row every year at the Super Bowl wearing a jersey with his name on it.
Oh, is that right?
A Ravens jersey with his name on it every single year. And he was a very short guy.
Hey, I had a middle school baseball travel team with my name on the back, but nobody wears my jersey. They root for the players, which is why the media will always be outside in to a lot of fans.
We used to deliver short foods to his table, like short ribs and things like that to his table.
That feels uncalled for.
Well, he was wearing a jersey with his name on it.
Was Nasty Nestor at the Miami game with the Bella? I just need to know.
Yeah,
Who's
you don't
that?
know.
I haven't heard of this person.
There you go.
You
Middays with Marks is coming your way next. Ray Dunn, obviously part of the show. I don't know who's with Johnny today.
Brought to you by Marlboro. I don't know who's it.
I don't know if it's a Sean Brace day. I'll find out.
I didn't see
Find
it,
out at 10. I'll find out at 10 o'clock as well as you guys do. Everybody have a great rest of your day. We're back at it tomorrow. Thanks as always for listening, watching on YouTube, radio, you name it. We'll talk to you tomorrow.